Hi everyone, I'm Tsem Tuku, and I'm coming to you live here from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from Kachar Forest Retreat. We are about 1 hour away from the capital of Malaysia, and tonight myself and my very hardworking and excellent team are going to bring you some beneficial information. Number one, I think everyone knows that we have a wonderful blog. It's called tsemrinpoche.com. And on the blog, there are many categories of my personal interest, such as animals, vegetarianism, our environment. There's over 487 articles in that category alone. Then there are articles and blog posts and pictures on art, architecture and culture, Buddhism, books, poetry, celebrities, people who have made an impact on different aspects of China, current affairs and news. And we have a Dorje Shugden category that has over 356 articles. We have free PDF downloads of various information and books. We have a category on film, TV, and music, foods, funnies, guest contributors, on horoscopes and fortune, inspiration and worthy words. On Kichara, we have a category on our country of Malaysia, and myself, personal attendant, photo galleries, prayers and sadhanas, also science and mysteries, students and friends, travel and pilgrimage. We have a category on Tsongkhapa, on Vajrayogini, videos, and one of my personal little interests, which is the Yeti, Bigfoot, and Sasquatch. We have over 62 articles and information and videos there. Ask a question, and etc. We are also getting tsemrinpoche.com slowly translated into the Chinese language, into the Tamil language, into Tibetan, into Nepalese, and also into Malay, which is the national language of our country here in Malaysia. And tsemrinpoche.com is supported by, worked on, and backed up by a great team of technicians, researchers, writers, translators, and everybody works really, really hard. And we have very unusual hours. Sometimes we can work all afternoon, sometimes we can work all night, sometimes we can work all day, sleep all night. And it just, as and when the news comes, we post things up on tsemrinpoche.com. And due to the international visitors we have from all over the world, currently we have over 15 million views on tsemrinpoche.com, and we have probably on a daily basis between 15,000 to 20,000 unique visitors. So every single day on tsemrinpoche.com, we have between 15,000 to 20,000 unique visitors. That's people from all around the world coming to visit. So within the blog that has been maintained and done by my great team, who are very dedicated to bring news and also modern Buddhism and special practices related to our lineage and meditations and information. Today I'm going to focus on I'm going to focus on the category that concerns Dorje Shugden, and within that we have just posted a new blog post. And the new blog post is a simple invocation and a simple prayer to Dorje Shugden that I have compiled today. And the reason for that is very simple. For the last 20, 25, 30 years, I have met thousands and thousands of people. And they have come to me with many various problems, difficulties. Some are problems that are external, that are made from circumstances beyond their control. Some of the problems are made by people themselves out of ignorance or just, mistakes. Some of the problems are on purpose. And everybody always has some kind of problems and difficulties and issues. And that's the nature of life. That's the nature of samsara, really. If we're going to pursue samsara and materialism and wealth and fame and name and relationships and travel and fun, if we're going to pursue that, we have to understand the nature of those pursuits does not bring ultimate happiness, long-term happiness, genuine happiness, and stable happiness. So if we wish to pursue relationships, if we wish to pursue wealth and career and travel and fun and materialism and getting the latest branded items, and our goal in life is pretty much that. That doesn't make us a bad person. That doesn't make us bad at all. But what we need to realize is those external things that we pursue do not bring ultimate happiness, continuous happiness, genuine happiness, stable happiness. So therefore, when we pursue those things, in the pursuit of those, we will have to sacrifice so much of ourselves. And when we get those items that we pursue, we have to give up so much of ourselves to maintain it. And in the end, those things will be lost, those things will be taken away, those things will basically be gone. So therefore, when we pursue external activities or external pursuits for security and happiness and a sense of peace, that will never come. It will never come not because we are bad people pursuing bad things, but we are people pursuing things that has no real substance, that has no real permanence, that has no real ultimate benefits. So therefore, if we are going to pursue those things, we have to be in the know, or we have to understand that eventually those material pursuits, those external pursuits will bring some sort of unhappiness, some sort of instability, depression, fear, anxiety, a sense of loss of security. And as human beings, we all have experienced that in our lives. And when we examine carefully where they came from external material pursuits. So when we get ourselves into difficulties and problems, or sometimes the problems are just presented to us, then we're sometimes in a dilemma. And we must use our human intelligence, and we must use our best efforts, and we have to use our best abilities to solve those problems, to solve them in a way that is within the law, that is not harming others, and that also somehow brings an end to the difficulties we have. But sometimes in life, even if we do our best to solve a problem, it is really just beyond us. It is really beyond us. It is beyond what we can do. It is beyond our personal abilities, or it's just really way over our head. And so a lot of times I come across people who ask me for help when the problems have become serious, or the problems are about to come, or the problems have just started. I like to talk it through with people. I like to examine what solutions they may have. I like to examine the logic behind it, perhaps the avenues they can pursue. And there are many times that people really have tried their best, or really have done their best, and they can't solve it. And sometimes some of the problems are beyond just logic or beyond normal capabilities. So I have done many, many divinations. Divinations is using a dice authorized by my teacher to check into people's future. And a lot of times pujas come out. They have to do pujas, they have to do rituals, they have to do some prayers, they have to do some visualizations, they have to do some chanting to clear out that karma. Now, clearing out that karma, how is that possible? Lord Buddha said that whatever karma we create, we have to experience it. We cannot experience someone else's karma. Someone else cannot experience our karma, but we have to experience our own karma. Karma is something that we have done that creates an energy that remains potent and that will be triggered at a future time for us to experience that energy. So some people would like to think that karma is a punishment, but karma is not a punishment per se. Karma is an experience of the return of the energy that we have sent out to others or we have done to others. I repeat, karma is experiencing an opening of an energy that we have sent out to others, whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. So therefore, we will have to experience that energy. We'll have to experience what we have sent out to others. And Buddha never claimed to have discovered karma, or he is the one that created karma, or he is the one that is telling you that he is the one that recognized karma, and before that it never existed. That's not what Buddha had said. Buddha is an enlightened being whose wisdom and omniscience has transcended anything within our dimension, within our world. Buddha's capabilities, his perception, is timeless, is omniscient, and it goes back, it goes forward with no limits. So in Buddha's awakened mind, he was able to perceive that beings experience happiness, suffering, anxiety, difficulties, depression, theft, loss, gain. Any experiences that beings experience. Beings not only including humans, but any sentient being, any living being, is a result of karma. So whatever people experience is a result of karma. Karma is something universal. Karma is not dependent on a god. It is not dependent on a outer divinity. It is something that exists as a natural, universal law. If you create an energy, with your body, your speech, your mind, that energy is stored, and that energy will be there, and it will be triggered by our own actions at a future time. It could be in this life, it could be in the future life. But karma never goes away, it never disappears, it will always continue. So therefore, if that is the case, if we have created some karma to experience some happiness, can that be taken away? It cannot be taken away. But karma created that is triggered open to experience happiness will finish once we have experienced that happiness. Let's say we have the karma to get a nice, red, juicy, sweet apple. Once we get that apple and we partake of it, the karma to get that apple is exhausted. It's finished. So similarly, that simple analogy applies to all workings of karma, which is universal law. Universal law does not need to be created by a being, a person, or a divinity. It exists. It exists. So therefore, if that's the case, what do we do with karma? All of us would like to experience good things we have done and the karma to return, to experience good karma that returns from doing good things. We'd all like to have that. We'd all like to experience good karma coming back from good things we have done in the past. All of us have done good things. All of us have done very good things. So we would like to experience that karma. And we'd like to experience only that. Unfortunately, through ignorance, through not knowing, perhaps through sometimes unbridled emotions, we have also created some negative karma. So the negative karma we have created, also we have to experience. And that's quite frightening, because some of us, the negative karma and the experience of the return of negative karma is like a landslide. Once it starts, it just doesn't end. It continues and continues. And suffering as a result of negative karma can be mental. It can be physical. It can be both. Mental can be feeling anxiety, depression, feeling a sense of hopelessness, that even things around us are all right, we still don't feel satisfied. We always feel thirsty. We always feel we're missing something. We feel we're wasting our lives. It could be physical, it could be an ailment, it can be illness, it can be sickness, it could be short-term, it can be long-term, it could be an accident, it could be a fall, it could be anything, or it could be both. So none of us wish to experience any suffering. All of us wish to experience pleasant things. From the smallest insect to the biggest mammal on our planet to human beings, all of us only wish to experience the result of good karma. So therefore, if we have negative karma and we're going to experience it, how do we avoid this? What do we do about it? Now, a lot of us can understand that we have negative karma. If we didn't have negative karma, we wouldn't be in this world system, reincarnated, getting sick, aging, experiencing financial loss, ups and downs, emotional loss. We wouldn't experience all that. We wouldn't experience the fear of our impending mortality, our death. We wouldn't be experiencing any of that. So because we have to experience that, and then the biggest one is our impending mortality, our death, where once we close our eyes, everything is gone, everything we are is gone, everything we have done is forgotten, everybody we know is gone, everybody we have known is gone. We are gone. It's total darkness. So the fear of our impending mortality escapes no one. If you say to some people, you might get rheumatism, they say, yeah, if I do that, I might get rheumatism. But they don't take it seriously because the chances of getting rheumatism maybe are 50-50. Not everybody gets it. If you tell someone, oh, you might have a car accident, well, there are people who've driven for 20, 30 years, they didn't have even a minor car accident. But if you tell people, or you tell yourself that, look, there's something that everybody have to go through and experience, which is death, none of us can escape that. None of us. And the Buddhist practice of meditating on our impending mortality and death is not to create morbidity or fear or some sort of unnatural state of mind where we always live in fear and we can't go outside. We become something like an agoraphobic, where we are stuck inside. The Buddhist meditation on death and impermanence and our body eventually disintegrating is to wake us up, for us to appreciate the people in our lives, the good things we have done, to regret the negative things that we have done and not to do it again, and to use the time we have left for something beneficial, for something good for others, to do something good for other people. So the Buddhist meditation on death is like someone who has a very, very difficult disease that the chances to heal are very slight. And they have a determination, boy, if I get through this disease, if I get well, I'm going to do this, this, this. I'm going to let go of this, this, this. I'm not going to have this fear. I'm not going to have this anger. I'm going to let go of my intolerance. I'm just going to be happy. I'm going to be good. I'm going to just have no more fear. Because it's not the end till it's the end, till you die. So it's like someone who's very ill and who's determined to do everything they can and let go of their anger and their fear and their self-loathing and all these negative states of mind, because time is so short. We don't want to waste another minute on negative states of mind. And how do we get rid of them? We have to just say, stop. We have to just say, we're going to focus on the positive. So therefore, when we meditate on our impermanence and how fragile our body is, and how anytime we can pass away, anytime we can die, when we meditate on that carefully, we meditate that carefully, consistently, and daily, you will see a shift in your mind. You will see a shift in your behavior. You will see a shift in your motivation and your interactions with others. That shift will be more thinking about how not to harm others, and thinking about how to be less selfish and less self-centric, and to focus out more on others and doing things perhaps that are beneficial to others, and to spend the rest of our time on something that has ultimate benefit. That is the purpose of Buddhist meditation on death and impermanence. And so therefore, when we have karma, when we have created some karma, I like to use this example of having a huge mountain, a massive mountain, and it's snow-capped. And every summer, the temperature goes up a few degrees, and therefore it melts the snow on the mountain somewhat, which becomes a river. Now in the winter, because it's cold, very little snow is melted. And therefore the river that goes down the mountain and down the valley and through the village is very mild and very gentle and very easy. But perhaps during the summers, that river can be torrential. It can be the water level can rise. It can be quite swift, and maybe even the currents are quite dangerous. And maybe with global warming, it's a few degrees even more. So more snow melts and the river actually rises, and it envelops the houses and the village that's around the shore. So when we observe this, and we see that there's a trend that the river is becoming more and more and more torrential, what we do is we start perhaps doing things to prevent flood. Maybe we can put sandbags, maybe we can dig the river deeper, or maybe before the river comes to the village, we dig tributaries, we dig smaller rivers, so that when the water comes, it diverts and goes around the village. So that's likened to karma. Karma is like that river that comes down. If we know that we have done many things that are not very beneficial, we know that there's going to be a lot of karma coming back to us, and we're going to have to experience it. So instead of sitting there like waiting like a sitting duck, we can do something about it. And what can we do about that? What we can do is that we can dig the tributaries around the small little village. We can have the water bypass. So instead of having one river going down the center of the village, we can dig ahead of the village where we have one river going around it, another one going to the left side, to the right side, to the center, and so forth. So you're not having the water recede backwards. You're not drying up the water. You are not building a dam and stopping the water, because karma cannot be stopped. What you're doing is diverting the water. So like that, karma can be diverted. Karma can be diverted by purifying the karma before it opens. Purification of karma is dependent on the 4 opponent powers. And I think everybody can do research on what that is without me having to go into detail about it. With the 4 opponent powers, if we apply, we can definitely purify or mitigate the karma. And through meditation, through study of Dharma, through holding refuge vows, by holding Sangha vows, by holding Bodhisattva vows, Tantric vows, and holding onto them steadfast, we can also mitigate or purify the karma. We can do purification practices such as Vajrasattva. We can do prostrations. We can do mandala offerings. We can do chanting. We can do meditation on emptiness. We can study bodhicitta, enact bodhicitta or compassion. We can serve our teacher. We can serve our gurus. We can serve the Sangha. We can help monasteries. We can do printing of Dharma books. We can do all of that to purify negative karma, which before it comes, it can be purified. So therefore, that fits into the law of cause and effect, where if there is karma, the karma can be removed, it can be purified, it can be mitigated, it can be extinguished. If we cannot purify karma or extinguish karma, then there is no way we can become enlightened. Since the Buddha taught the Dharma for us to become enlightened, that would logically make us say, well, then karma can be purified. Karma can be mitigated, it can be extinguished. All right? Now, within the Tibetan tradition, there's many great masters that through meditation, through higher states of mind, through higher states of consciousness, they are able to give us various methods that are unique to us to help us overcome daily obstacles, to help us overcome karma, to help us mitigate karma, and to make our sufferings less, or even in some cases, change. So there are definitely those kind of lamas. These lamas have existed before in India, they have existed in Tibet now, and they exist in many, many places where people have attained higher consciousness due to meditation. Tibetan lamas can give us very unique methods to help us overcome problems, to mitigate karma, and to create a new direction, inside, outside. The important thing is that we practice those methods consistently. Not for a few months, and then we stop. A few days, and we stop. And then we start again. And then we have a lot of excuses to ourselves about we have a dinner, we have a movie, I'm sleepy, I have to wash the dishes. You know, a lot of small, tiny excuses we give ourselves, which actually is laziness. All of us are lazy. We're not bad, but all of us are lazy. And laziness comes from habituation, and laziness comes from not knowing the value of the practice that we are doing. So therefore, consistency brings results. Consistency brings results anything in life, whether it's materialistic, whether it's secular or spiritual. Without consistency, that secret ingredient of consistency, we can be given the most powerful meditation and mantra from our teachers that Buddha has ever taught, but it will not bear any results if we do not do it consistently. We can have the best spouse in the world, but our marriage won't work out if we're not consistent in keeping that going. It's not, whatever we do, if we're going to go to school, if we're going to do work, if we're going to create something, art, if we're going to trek Mount Kailash, whatever we want to do, if it's not consistent, it won't bear results. If it doesn't bear results, then after a while, when we do things, we give up, we do things, we give up, we do things, we give up. We have a lot of guilt. We have a lot of excuses, and we have a lot of justifications to ourselves. You see, it's one thing to justify to others and explain things to others. They may or may not believe that's not important, but it's about ourselves. It's about we know that we weren't consistent. And then it's one inconsistency over another, which doesn't bring a lot of results in life. So what's important is that we have to face ourselves, we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to overcome ourselves. We have to face, overcome, and be honest with ourselves. If we're not consistent, we won't get results. If we don't get results, when karma opens up, we have to experience that karma. We have to experience it. Nobody else will. We have to experience it. So therefore, you can be in a boat. If it capsizes, some people have the karma to drown, some people don't, but it's the same boat, it's the same ocean, the same lake, the same situation. Everybody has their own karma. That's not a very pleasant example, but it is an analogy. Now, within the Tibetan tradition, one of the ways to get assistance for what we wish to accomplish in life, what we wish to accomplish that's positive, what we wish to accomplish that maybe is necessary for us, our families, our future, is invoking on the power, the intercession of spiritual beings. Spiritual beings whose abilities to intercede, to help, is way beyond our personal abilities. Spiritual beings who have clairvoyance, spiritual beings that have compassion, spiritual beings who have wisdom and skillful means, that when we invoke upon their power, we invoke upon their compassion, they are able to effect a change in our situation, in our lives, in our mind, even in our environment. How is that possible? That's possible when we have positive karma to support the presence of a powerful spiritual being in our lives. So therefore, within Tibetan Buddhism, there are many types of powerful beings. There are the Buddhas themselves. For example, we have Buddha Shakyamuni, we have Tara, we have Marichi, we have, for example, Mahakala, and so on and so forth. Even in Tibet, some of the high meditators and lamas have connected and contain the power of mountain deities, deities or devas that have been around for thousands of years, hundreds of years, who have power. And they're able to contain, tap into, and invoke this energy. So the spiritual beings that we can contact to help us can be of the enlightened nature, or they can be of the unenlightened nature. The unenlightened nature can be positive, or it can be negative energy that has been contained and forced to do positive. So therefore, there are many types of spiritual beings that the Tibetan Lamas tap into. They can be mountain deities, devas, nature beings. They can be protective. They can be people who are very powerful in life, who have passed away. They can be protectors. They can be Buddha emanations. They can be Nagas. They can be spirits. The Tibetan Lamas have tapped into this energy because it's present, it's there, and sometimes it's in front of you. So therefore, there are many texts and scriptures that are written on tapping into these energies to help us, into these spiritual beings. So, within the Tibetan, let's not go to the lower spiritual beings, let's go to the higher ones. Within the higher spiritual beings, you have two types. You have spiritual beings or protectors that are enlightened and not enlightened. The enlightened protectors are emanations of enlightened beings. For example, four-faced Mahakala is considered an emanation of Manjushri. Six-armed Mahakala is considered an emanation of Avalokiteshvara or Kuan Yin. You have protectors that are emanations of Ajapani, of Samandabhadra, of various enlightened beings. So those we don't have to even think about. They're enlightened beings, their energy is enlightened, and the enlightened energy is direct, it's positive, it's very obvious. Then you have unenlightened beings. Within the category of unenlightened beings that are Dharma protectors, you have two types. One is they are actually enlightened, manifesting as an unenlightened being. And then you have actually unenlightened beings who have been sworn of allegiance to a high lama to benefit others who are not enlightened. So you have enlightened beings who are emanations of actually Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That's one category. Then the next category of protectors are unenlightened beings. And within the category of unenlightened beings, you have two types. One is protectors that manifest as ordinary beings, but they're actually emanations of enlightened beings. Then you have protectors that are ordinary beings who are not enlightened, who have been bound or sworn of allegiance to assist people. All right? So today, I would like to talk about an enlightened being taking on the form of both enlightened and unenlightened manifestations. I am 53 years old this year. And when I was 18, I was in Los Angeles. And I was extremely lucky because I lived in the Dharma Center for 8 years and studied with a very venerable, erudite, compassionate, and humble master. And that is His Eminence, Geshe Tsurem Gyaltsen. So I had left home in New Jersey when I was 15, and I hitchhiked across the country, and I came to Los Angeles. And when I arrived in Los Angeles, I stayed at a cousin's house for a few months, and then I moved to the inner city, and then I found the Dharma Center, which was, the teacher was Geshe Tsurem Gyaltsen. And so when I joined the center, I was 15 going on 16, and I lived in the center until I was 22, 23, where I proceeded to India to become a monk. So those 8 years of my life while I was growing up, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, around 23, I lived with Geshe-la. I lived with Geshe Tsurem Gyaltsen in a room downstairs that I rented from the Dharma Center, and Geshe-la lived upstairs, and I studied with him. He taught me rituals. He passed me oral transmissions. Every Sunday we would have lamrim and sometimes tantra classes. And also he gave explanations and commentaries. And it was such a beautiful time because I had the great honor and privilege to also serve Geshe-la, because people living in the center was just about 3 of us. And I had the great honor to sometimes cook for Geshe-la, to do his laundry on a regular basis, to clean his room, to vacuum his carpet, to straighten out his living area, to sometimes even be his secretary when he had visitors, to assist them to see him, write notes, sometimes read some of his letters and bills, and sometimes when he went out to teach or went for blessings, I would accompany him, carry his things. So I had the great honor to serve my teacher for that time, for about 8 years, and I learned quite a lot from him, quite a lot. And his teacher, he has a few teachers that are very great masters of Tibet, the top of the top. And one of his teachers was His Holiness Kyabje Rinpoche. And Geshe-la had invited Kyabje Rinpoche to Los Angeles to stay in our center. And I was really excited, because the minute I heard Rinpoche's name, it felt right, it felt special, it felt connected, it felt like I should know this person, that this person is for me. It's something I can't explain because I was very young. And I remember riding in a car with a fellow Dharma student. I was going to talk, and he had a picture of Rinpoche on his dashboard of his car, a 3R size, 3 by 2 inch. And I asked, "Who's that?" And he says, "That's Rinpoche, that's Geshe-la's teacher." And I went, "Wow." And then this man told me that Rinpoche is actually emanation of Hiruka. And I went, "Wow, double wow." And so I asked him, "Can I have that picture?" And he gave it to me. So the minute I got that picture, I placed the picture of Rinpoche on my shrine. And every single day I did 100 prostrations to Rinpoche and prayed that I can get teachings from him, that I can be near him, that I can receive initiations and lineages, and that I wish him to be my guru. And it was automatic, it was natural. So I did 100 prostrations to the picture of Kyabje Rinpoche. And lo and behold, within that year and a half, we were told that Geshe-la invited Rinpoche to Los Angeles, to our center, to Darjeeling, and he's going to stay with us for 6 months. I was very excited. There was a flurry of cleaning, light renovations, painting, preparations, instructions from Geshe-la. And when Rinpoche finally came, Geshe-la, Geshe Tsurem Gyaltsen, personally selected me to be Rinpoche's assistant. His cook. I wasn't a great cook, but I was his cook. The person to clean his room, the person to vacuum, the person to straighten out his room, the person to attend to him personally. And I had that great honor. And so I was very lucky to get close to Rinpoche physically and be with him and always be in a room with him. Even when he talked to people, when he spoke to people, when he did teachings, I was always there. And to make a long story short, at that time, I had asked Rinpoche that I would like to do one protector practice for the rest of my life. Because I have a lot of obstacles to my life. Getting a job, I'm financially strapped, and I get sick often, and I just have obstacles. I think all of us do, but I know that in Tibetan Buddhism, there's a way to overcome these obstacles with very powerful spiritual beings called protectors. And so when I asked Rinpoche who should be my protector, I said that I like Palden Lhamo, I like Dorje Shugden, because Dorje Shugden was introduced to me by Geshe Tsudam Gyaltsen. And Dorje Shugden has shown me a lot of signs. The first time I was trying to get a job. I was 15, 16, not qualified. I dropped out of school and I needed to make money. I was applying for jobs, and I mean, how many jobs can I get being that age and zero qualifications? So I applied for a job, and I didn't know if I'd get hired. If I didn't get hired, I wouldn't be able to pay my bill. If I couldn't pay my bill, I couldn't stay in the Dharma Center, and I really wanted to stay in the Dharma Center with Geshe-la. So I went to Geshe-la and told him my dilemma, how I've been applying for jobs and I can't get any jobs and it's been weeks and I really need this job so I can stay in the center. And Geshe-la was doing his meditations and he had a tanka. A tanka is a Tibetan brocade painting of various spiritual beings, of Buddhas. He had a tanka of Dorje Shugden in his room, and he pointed to the tanka and he said, "This is Dhammapala. If you want your job and you trust him, if you pray to him and you request him, you will get your job." And I just said, really? Because I mean, I believe everything Geshe-la tells me. He's my teacher. So I immediately prostrated to the tanka, to the brocade painting in Dorje Shugden, and I requested him. And I said, "I'd like to live here with Geshe-la, and I wish to serve and learn with Geshe-la. Please help me get this job so that I can pay my bills here. Because our center is very poor. We need to pay mortgage. Please help me to get this job." And you know what? Within 2 days, I got a call. And out of all the candidates, I got the job. And the job was very stable. And that was the first sign that Dorje Shugden had shown me. And I ran to Geshe-la, I told him what happened, and Geshe-la said, "Very good, very good. I told you Dorje Shugden would help you." And that was my first experience with Dorje Shugden as a 16-year-old child in Los Angeles who needed a job to support himself because I wasn't living with my family and I wasn't getting any financial support and I had no money at all. So fast forward, when Kyabje Saramji came to the center, I was 18 years old. He stayed at the center and I was in his room with him, and I asked him to please assign me a Dharma protector. I liked a few like Palden Lhamo, Dorje Shugden, etc. And can he assign one to me? And I will pray and hold that protector for the rest of my life without deviating. And so Saramji said to me simply, he looked at me and said to me, "If you want, I will give you my personal protector." Well, very simple. If it's good enough for His Holiness Kyabje Saramji, it would be more than good enough for me because I am nowhere near Kyabje Saramji's caliber. And so I said to Kyabje Saramji, I folded my hands, "Please initiate me and grant me the blessings of your protector and permission to practice. Please, Kyabje Saramji, grant me the permission and the transmission to practice your personal protector." And I was so excited I didn't ask who his personal protector was. So then he says, "Okay, good night." So I ran to the other room. I told Geshe-la I was jumping up and down like a kid at Christmas. Christmas Eve presents are exciting. I was jumping up and down like a kid at Christmas, saying to Geshe-la, "Saramji is going to give me his personal protector. Saramji is going to give me his personal protector." And Geshe-la looked at me and shot me one question. "Which one is that?" I said, I don't know." So Geshe-la says he's going to give you, he says Saramji has a few personal protectors because he's a great Lama. And I said, "Oh." So I ran back to Saramji's room, opened up the little curtain, and he was asleep. It was dark. And I said, "Oh dear." And being the impatient person that I have always been, I couldn't sleep the whole night. I was thinking, which one is it? So I went to Geshe-la, lucky Geshe-la was still up, and I said, "Which one do you think it is?" Geshe-la says, "Maybe it's Dorje Shugden, maybe it's etc. Maybe it's four-faced Mahakala. I don't know, you're going to have to ask Saramji yourself. But I think it's Dorje Shugden." And so that night I thought, who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? It's like a kid at Christmas. You shake that box that's under the tree. You wonder, what is it? What kind of toy is it? And so when I got up the next day, I made breakfast for Saramji as I'd done every single day. He likes toast with some butter and a little bit of jam, a slice of cheese, and an egg, and another slice of toast, and it's cut in half. He likes that sweet and sour taste with a cup of tea. That's what he ate every day for breakfast, every single day. So I brought up his breakfast on a tray with tea and all that, and then I said to him, which protector are you going to give me, Your Holiness? And he looked at me and laughed. He says, I'm not going to give you a protector. I said, but you promised. He says, okay, I'll give it to you. He used to play with me like a little kid. He was very affectionate. He said, I'm going to give you Dorje Shugden. I was so excited. I wasn't really excited that it was Dorje Shugden. I was excited that Saramji is assigning me a protector. I repeat, I wasn't so excited that it was Dorje Shugden. I was excited that it was Saramji himself assigning me a protector. One of the greatest lamas that Tibet has ever produced is going to assign me a personal protector. And this lama, who is the Buddha himself, who is clairvoyant, who is tantrically advanced, who is an erudite master, who is a great geshe, who is an abbot at the monastery, who is just the guru of thousands and thousands of other masters, is going to assign me a personal protector. So I was so excited. So after about 2-3 weeks, along with another 70 or 80 persons from our center, 3 persons at a time, according to the rituals of this protector, we were initiated into the practice of Dorje Shugden. So Kyabje Saramji initiated myself and gave me the commitment chakra, sokor, and the commitment crystal, and he became my protector. So the commitment is, until I reach full enlightenment, I will practice to protect this protector, Dorje Shugden, as my principal protector. And Dorje Shugden will assist me life after life until I achieve Bodhichitta. So Dorje Shugden's commitment to me is to help me until I achieve Bodhichitta. And my commitment to him is hold him as my principal protector. And this was done by Kyabje Saramji. That's what the Guru does. The Guru introduces you to these spiritual beings. And from that day forth till now, it's been over 30 years, I have held Dorje Shugden as my principal protector. I think, and Kyabje Saramji himself told me that Dorje Shugden is Manjushri. Dorje Shugden is one of the 8 principal disciples of Buddha Shakyamuni himself, the historical, the enlightened, the one and only sage of all sages, Buddha Shakyamuni. So as a Buddhist, we all take refuge in Shakyamuni. We all trust and believe in Shakyamuni, and we follow Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings or the interpretations of his teachings by great masters, such as Tsongkhapa. So, I have been practicing Dorje Shugden, doing his pujas, his commitment and prayers for the last 30 years. And the commitment to Dorje Shugden is very simple yet profound, which is to have Guru devotion, to not harm other beings, to work as hard as I can to be a benefit to other beings, and to never disparage the Dharma, whether it's Gelugpa, Nyingma, Sakya, Kagyu, Hinayana, Mahayana, Japanese, Thai Buddhism, Cambodian Buddhism, whatever Buddhism it is never to disparage another form of Buddhism. And there was no commitments to us that, we can't read about or investigate other lineages, other practices, other schools of Buddhism. But we were encouraged to practice and to understand our own form, our own school of Buddhism, and to master that, because that would be more than enough. And that was encouraged that everybody should master their own form of Buddhism, their own school of Buddhism. But there was nothing like, you can't read books by other schools of Buddhism or other teachers, or you can't practice other things. There's no such thing. Saramji didn't give such commitments. The commitment was to have very strong Guru devotion, to work very hard to benefit others, to develop bodhicitta, not to harm other people, and to hold Dorje Shugden as our principal protector. So the commitment is that, and every single month we do a special puja at Dorje Shugden, which takes about, if you do it quickly, it takes about 2.5 hours with special offerings. If you're not able to do it or you're not well, you can have other people do it for you. And so I received the sokde, or the transmission, the permission to practice, the oral transmission from Kyabje Saramji, and it was Kyabje Saramji's instruction to me to practice Dorje Shugden. So I am practicing Dorje Shugden because I am following Kyabje Saramji's instructions from 1988, isn't it? Where I met Saramji. 83, sorry, I always get it mixed up. I am practicing Kyabje Saramji's instructions from 1983, when I was 18 when I met Kyabje Saramji. I repeat, when I met Kyabje Saramji, I was 18 years old, 1983. So that's when he gave it to me. That's over 30 years. I don't practice Dorje Shugden for political reasons or monetary reasons. I don't even know how you can practice it for monetary reasons. But I don't practice it for any reason except it is assigned by my guru. I have other meditations and other prayers that I have to do daily that I've done for 30 years that's assigned to me by Saramji also. For example, one of the prayers I must do is the recitation of the Avalokiteshvara mantra. So I've done that every single day for 30 years, plus without a break, without missing it. That's an assignment from Kyabje Saramji. And there are many other practices that I have to do daily. So Dorje Shugden is not important. Saramji is important. My guru is important. So if he assigns that to me, then I have to do it. So I practice Dorje Shugden and I share it with others. And by sharing it with me, I will share it with others. And he understands that. Somebody shared it with Saramji, his guru shared it with him, and then therefore he shared it with me. So if I have students or friends, I will share it with others, just as the example Saramji showed me. So therefore, Dorje Shugden, Saramji said in a nutshell, he's Manjushri, emanated in the form of a protector that is within samsara's bounds, that is able to help us, that is near us, that is able to hear us and hear us and guide us and bless us. Khyentse Jamba Yeshi, the great abbot of Ganden Shatse Monastery, I asked him also, who is Dorje Shugden? What is his nature? Khyentse Rinpoche Jessen Jamba Yeshi of Ganden Shatse Monastery, who is my philosophical teacher in Ganden, also told me he's Manjushri. Simple as that, he's Manjushri. Then there's a great master named Gen Nima, who is a hermit and a meditator of Ganden Jangse Monastery. And I asked him once, who is Dorje Shugden? He told me Dorje Shugden is a Buddha. It is Manjushri. Same. I have posed the question to Kyabje Lati Rinpoche, who is Manjushri? Kyabje Lati Rinpoche of Ganden Shatse also told me it is Dorje Shugden. And so on and so on and so on. Manjushri is Dorje Shugden. Dorje Shugden is Manjushri. There's no difference. In fact, Kyabje Lati Rinpoche encouraged my practice of Dorje Shugden. If I had some problems or issues, Kyabje Lati Rinpoche told me to write it down in a letter and put it in Ganden Shatse's Dorje Shugden chapel under the statue of Dorje Shugden. He used to tell me to do that. He encouraged it. He would tell me to do Dorje Shugden pujas. Lati Rinpoche himself would tell me that. In fact, Lati Rinpoche is the one that asked me to go to Malaysia to teach many years back. So, all these years I've been doing Dorje Shugden's practice out of respect and my promise and commitment to my guru, Kyabje Saramji. Kyabje Saramji is my root guru, is my root teacher. So, if Saramji gives me the Dorje Shugden practice, then I have to practice it. The only way I can stop doing Dorje Shugden's practice, not that I want to stop, is if I go to Saramji and I ask him, may I stop doing it? And he says, yes, you may. Then I can stop. Or if he tells me, you stop, then I can stop. No other guru, authority, or master can override my root guru's instructions to me. My root guru's instructions to me is my personal relationship with my guru. And no one can interfere and no one can obstruct or override that. So another monk, another nun, another master, another meditator, as great as they can be, cannot come and tell me, according to the rules of guru devotion, that you must stop Dorje Shugden. without me receiving permission from Sorumji. So, Sorumji has passed away, so there is no way I can ask his permission to stop Dorje Shugden practice if I wanted to, which I don't. So no one on this planet now can override Kyabje Sorumji's instructions. And also, according to the senior lamas, even if your lama has an incarnation, a young incarnation, even that incarnation do not necessarily have the authority to override instruction given by his previous life to yourself. That's what the Geshis and senior lamas of Ganden told me. So, my commitment and samaya is my spiritual relationship with my teacher. Samaya is spiritual relationship with my teacher. It's between me and my teacher, and no one can override that. So I have to continue doing Dorje Shugden practice, and that's the practice I have to share with others because that's what it's been assigned to me. So my practice of Dorje Shugden is fulfilling my commitment to Dorje Shugden. It's nothing more than that. It's never been more than that. It's always been that. It's always been nothing but that. Fulfilling the commitments of my root teacher, Kyabje Sorumji. Kyabje Sorumji is my root teacher, is my root guru, is the love of my life, is a person I have great faith in, that I have great trust in, who has passed me many initiations, lineages, oral transmissions, commentaries. He has been very kind to me. When I was in Ganden Shatse, I lived in Sorumji's house. I ate Sorumji's food. I lived on Sorumji's land. I used Sorumji's property. He is my teacher. He is my spiritual father. So I don't know how much more I need to explain. I think you understand. So in any case, if Sorumji assigns this practice, which was assigned by his teacher and his teacher and his teacher, and it's been going on for 350 years, we know this practice is very powerful. And so this practice was practiced by thousands of great masters and ordinary people in Tibet, Mongolia, Nepal, India, Kalmyk, Russia, and all those places. Because you can find Dorje Shugden literature, practice, all over the place. Tankas, images, statues, all over the place, which I have found. So today, I would like to share with you the actual practice of Dorje Shugden requires this. A person must get sokde, that is permission and initiation and, well, basically initiation of this protector from a qualified lama. The lama himself or herself must have the practice and have done the proper retreats. So you must have sokde, life entrustment commitment. You must have sokde. Then you yourself must have Yamataka's initiation, Yamataka's practice. You must have Lama Tsongkhapa's initiation, a Lama Tsongkhapa's practice. So before you can receive sokde, you have to have Yamataka's practice and a practitioner of Yamataka. You must have Lama Tsongkhapa's initiation, Je Tsenzinma, Tse Tsinma, and you must have been doing Lama Tsongkhapa's practice and retreat. So after you finish these and you have these practice, then you can receive Dorje Shugden's practice. Because when you do Dorje Shugden's practice, you have to do these forms of Manjushri in conjunction. Now, for everybody today to get these practices, these initiations, do the retreats, do the mantras, do the practice, it's going to be very complicated. Very, very complicated, very difficult. Yamataka's sadhana is quite long. Even the short one's quite long. The long one's very long. So a lot of people today, if they were to do Yamataka's practice, Tsongkhapa's practice, it's very, very difficult. So I've been thinking about it for many years, and I've lived and traveled all over. I've lived in Malaysia and traveled all over and come across people with a lot of problems, and I've introduced them to Dorje Shugden's practice very lightly. And they have come back to me, most of them have come back to me telling me that it has had a very powerful and positive effect in their lives. And I hear this again and again and again. Let's be very honest. 95% of the people who come to Buddhism are not going to practice Buddhism deeply. They're going to read some books, do some chanting, make some donations, do some mantras, and just once a week on Sunday do a service at the Buddhist temple. Most people, they're not going to do anything seriously. So their knowledge of Buddhism will be limited. Their knowledge of understanding of karma and suffering will be very limited. But they want a solution. They want a solution. Now, 5% who practice Dharma deeper, they practice Buddhism deeper, they'll know where the solution for a problem is. They'll know how to overcome their problem because they study Dharma enough to apply its method to overcome their problem. But 95% of the public, whoever they are, where they are, I'm not meaning this as criticism, will not know what to do. And when the problems come, they're stuck. They usually go seek a lama, a monk, a nun, a practitioner to help them overcome their problems with pujas and rituals and prayers and chanting. So a lot of people have problems and they're not able to practice Buddhism very deeply. So to say, oh, you need to do a meditation on emptiness, you need to do recitation to Pakde, for example, Papa Cheniziki Deva, you have to do the recitation of prayers to Avalokiteshvara, praise to him, you have to retreat on Yamataka. They're not able to do it. They're not able. Imagine I tell people, you need to do Yamataka's practice, you need to do the mantra 700,000 times, do talk twice a month, and keep the commitment very well, then you'll overcome your problems. The best overcomer of problems is Yamataka. But how to get people to get that initiation? How to get people to take on the bodhisattva vows that's required within that initiation, that practice? How to get them to do the tantric vows? How to get them to do the practice of Yamataka itself, the meditation, the complicated recitations, and the rituals and the offerings involved for them to overcome their problems. Most people, they're not able to do that. But many people who are not able to do extensive rituals for themselves or extensive practice for themselves or to practice Buddhism deeper to overcome their own problems, they still deserve a remedy to overcome their problems because they're suffering. I repeat, many people who are not able to practice Buddhism or Dharma deeply, to apply Dharma to overcome their problems, they still deserve a method to overcome their problems. So for those people, I recommend Dorje Shugden's practice. The housewife that's having financial issues, the house husband that can't get a job, someone who's going in for a serious operation, they're very scared, someone in deep depression, someone who has to travel a lot and it can be dangerous, somebody who is in a profession that has a lot of difficulties like firemen, dangers, people who feel they have occult or spiritual attacks, negative attacks, people who get possessed, which happens quite a lot in Asia. Magic is alive here. People who want to get ahead in school, want to get into a school. People who have different problems. Students who are having difficulty passing tests. And I've been asked these questions, how to help them many, many times. And my recommendation for all these people of any background, of anywhere, is to do Dorje Shugden's practice. Dorje Shugden's practice doesn't replace the meditation and the prayers and the worship of Buddha Shakyamuni. It doesn't replace that, but it helps us to stay on the path so that we can practice Buddha Shakyamuni. It helps us stay on the path. And you know, a lot of people today, they want fast phones, fast internet, fast airplanes, fast cars. They want fast food. Well, they also want a fast protector. They also want a fast result. So Dorje Shugden is it's like a drive-through. You just drive through, tell him what you want, and if you trust him, he will literally help you. And I hate to say that, and I hate to make it funny. I'm not trying to demean it, but Dorje Shugden is literally a fast drive-through, and many people tell me that he's very effective. So, Dorje Shugden's practice should not be your main practice. It shouldn't be your only practice. It's a subsidiary practice that you do to help you stay on your spiritual path. Your practice should be Buddha Shakyamuni, Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Guru Rinpoche, Hiruka, Yamantaka, Kalachakra, Guya Samaja, Vajrayogini, Hevatra, Gyawak Gyatso Chenezik, etc., 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 etc. That should be your main practice. And coupled with your main practice should be reading Lamrim, understanding Lamrim, meditating on Lamrim, understanding the 50 verses of Guru devotion, the 3 principal paths. We should familiarize ourselves with the writings of the great Indian masters such as Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Chandragomi, such as Shantideva. We should definitely read Shantideva's Bodhisattva Chairavata. We should familiarize ourselves with that, meditate on that, and practice that. Those should be our practices. We should do the practices of the great Kadamba masters, Geshe Potawa, Geshe Langri Tangpa, etc. We should learn the teachings of mind transformation, such as the 8 verses of thought transformation. So our main practice should be things like the 8 verses of thought transformation, Lojong. They should be practices like the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa, the Guru Yoga of Buddha Shakyamuni, the Guru Yoga of Guru Rinpoche. They should be practices like, for example, meditation on Lamrim, Lamrim retreats, Lamrim practice, Lamrim meditation. Our main practices secretly should be Yamantaka, Hiruka, Vajrayogini, and or Guhya Samaja, Kala Chakra, etc., etc., etc. Those are our main practices. And the result of those practices should be the transformation of the mind. From that of an ordinary, poor me, feeling sorry for myself, being to one that accepts myself, loves myself, can see my potential, gains higher consciousness, gains bodhicitta, gains realization shunyata, and that is able to benefit others and bring others out of suffering consistently. That should be the goal of our Buddhist practice. That should be Buddhist practice. Buddhist practice is that. The protective practices such as Dorje Shugden, Banden Lhamo, Mahakala, Kalarupa, Veshavana, etc., etc. Those are all side things and small practices. Be it that it's small, we still need it. Because we come across a lot of obstacles. A lot of obstacles. So, it would be better if we were to meet a great king. If I was to meet the great prime ministers, plural, of Malaysia, I don't think I'll say to them, can you help me walk across the street? I can't walk across the street. I think it would be better if I asked a Malaysian policeman to help me walk across the street because, I have some leg problems. I don't think if I see the Prime Minister of Malaysia and the Prime Minister say to me, what do you want, my dear Tsem Rinpoche? What would you like? If you can help me walk across the street? The Prime Minister looks at me, I look at him, there's a moment of crickets in the room. Wouldn't it be better if I say to the Prime Minister, can you give me a fabulous job that gives me a lot of money and that I'm going to be powerful and rich and all that stuff? Wouldn't that be smarter to ask the Prime Minister or a great king for something bigger? Right? Why would you ask them to help you walk across the street? Like that, if you meet a policeman and you need help, you're not going to say to him, oh, get me a great job. You're going to say to him, can you help me walk across the street? I'm having problems with my legs. Of course. In America, you always see policemen. Well, when I was growing up, I don't know about now, when I was growing up, you always see policemen helping little old ladies, little old men across the street. So, I'm not going to go to Shakyamuni and say to him, I'm not going to go to Shakyamuni in Tsongkhapa and say to him, can you get me a job? Can you remove obstacles that, I can be safe when I fly next time? Can you help me pass my grades? No, to Shakyamuni, to Lama Tsongkhapa, to Dara, to Hiruka and Vajrayogini, what I'm going to ask them is, please give me indivisible bliss and emptiness. May I receive bodhicitta. May I gain the highest knowledge and the highest enlightenment. Dear Buddha Shakyamuni, please bless me and please bless my meditation. I can be an enlightened being. Then to Dorje Shugden and to Banden Lhamo and Kalarupa, I can say to him, can you help me get a job? So the protectors are a minor practice, but they're important because they help us, keep us on the path. They provide things for us on the path. Yes, are there people who go to Dorje Shugden and Banden Lhamo and say, oh, give me money, let me win the lottery, give me money, win the lottery. Most people ask for that. Most people ask for lottery, win the money, may they get a yacht, may they get a Rolls Royce, may they get, this and that and this and that. Of course there are, but look, it's not for me to judge people what they're going to pray to the protector for. My job is to say there is such a protector, and you pray for what you think is right that doesn't harm others. In Tibetan society, if you go to the Tibetan temples, most of the lay people pray for secular things. No matter what protector is in the temple, they pray for secular things. So, if I was to give ordinary lay people Dorje Shugden's practice, and they have to get initiation of Lama Tsongkhapa, then they have to get initiation of Yamataka, they have to do the sadhana, do the practice, do the retreat, do the fire puja, and get initiation of Dorje Shugden. They have to do the practice, do the rituals, and do the pujas, and it takes hours. It's going to be difficult for them. So what I do is because I have lived out of Tibetan communities for a long time, and I live with people who don't know what pujas are, who don't know what meditation is, who don't know what the tantras are, who don't know what commitments are, who do not know what bodhicitta or bodhisattva vows or tantric vows are. They don't know. They want their kids to get into school. They want to pass. They need some financial help. They need to get a job. They're sick. Someone's in a hospital. Someone had a stroke. They need a miracle. They need assistance. They need a blessing. Someone sees ghosts. They need protection from negative beings. These are the kind of people I meet. And if I was to help them overcome their problems using Buddhist methods, it would take years. And I don't even know if they would wait that long to even do it. So if I recommend Dorje Shugden's practice to them, it would help them almost immediately. What do they have to give back? Nothing really. In the last 30 years that I have practiced Dorje Shugden, I've consulted his famous oracles many times. I've spoken to him. He takes trance in his oracles. Many times I've spoken to him. He's asked me for nothing except be kind, study the Dharma, share the Dharma with others, be a benefit to others, assist others. He has never ever told me to meditate on himself or anything. He always told me to teach the Buddha's teachings to others, to make sure they practice, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni, recite the mantra of Chenrezig or whatever. So in the 30 years that I've had a relationship with Dorje Shugden, the advice has always been dharmically inclined. And so I have tons of people asking me all the time to help solve their problems. Well, I'm not a Buddha and I can't solve their problems, and I think even a Buddha cannot solve everyone's problems. I don't think any God or Buddha or any divine being can solve everybody's problems, but we have to apply the methods of solving the problems ourselves with a little bit of help from the divinities, a little bit help from an angel, awakened master, from a saint, from a special protector, and in this case, Dorje Shugden. So what I have done is, from traditional sources, I've compiled prayers that I am going to share with you today on how to do Dorje Shugden's practice. And it's very short and very easy. It's very short and very easy. And I'm going to go through it with you. So I have a blog post. Posted, and you can see the link to it below this live streaming. You can see it's pinned to the top. And if you click on that, if you click on the link, you'll go to the blog post that has the prayer that we can do for Dorje Shugden every single day. All right? So how do we start out? If it's comfortable, then it'd be nice to have a nice shrine made to Dorje Shugden here, as I have shown you by example here. And the shrine contains, on this particular shrine, contains on the highest point, the main point is Buddha Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, who is the Buddha of our time, who is the Buddha who turned the wheel of the 84,000 dharmas, and the one that created and that manifested teachings that created all the other Buddhas that we have. So this is Buddha Shakyamuni in the center, and on the right is the founder of the Reformed Kadampa school, and who holds primarily Nagarjuna's view, Lama Tsongkhapa, or Buddha Tsongkhapa. And on the left here, my left, no, this is left, on the right, on the right, is the Lotus-born one, Guru Pedma Sambhava, Guru Rinpoche, who was very kind to subdue many obstacles in Tibet and brought many Dharma to Tibet 1,000 years ago. So Dharma can flourish. In front of that, you can see a small image of Dorje Shugden. All right. So I have Buddha Shakyamuni, I have Lama Tsongkhapa, I have Guru Rinpoche, and I have Dorje Shugden. So these are the Buddhas I have here. And you don't have to have this exact altar. You can have something similar, or you can have any image. You can have Tara, you can have Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara, you can have Vajrapani, Manjushri, anything. This is just a sample for you. And then I have the Sirkim, the black tea ritual for Dorje Shugden here. You can see here, this is called a Sirkim set. And I also had the sensory offerings front here. The two waters, the water for drinking. The second one is water for the feet. The third one is flowers. The next one is incense for smell. The next one is candle or light. The next one is perfume, which is represented by the water. The next one is food, and the next one is pleasant sound. So those are the sensory offerings for the 5 senses. And in front, it's just plain water. The water is yellow is because we highlight it with saffron. We offer saffron into it. So you can have the sensory offerings like that, and then you can have a set of water, or you can have just the sensory offerings, or you can have just the water. I repeat, you can have both or more than this. The more, the better. You can have you can have both, or you can have just the sensory offerings. Why is it called the sensory offerings? Because it's the offerings to the senses. By making offerings of the senses, one cuts off attachment that is related to sensors. One cuts off the attachment. So by offering offerings of the senses to the Buddhas, we create the karma and the merit to cut off attachment that's related to the senses. So that's here. And then we have plain water. Water offerings were recommended to us by the great master Sri Dipankara Atisha. Atisha taught Tibetans to make water offerings to the 3 jewels and Buddha. So you can have both. You can have one or the other. It's up to you. You can have more candles. Make sure it's safe. You can have flowers. You can have incense. You can have whatever you like. You can have more than this or less. It's up to you. So this is your personal shrine. The shrine can be in your bedroom if you don't have space. It can be in a room of its own. It can be in a living room, anywhere you like. You can keep it clean. You can wipe it. You can move it. You can do whatever you like. You can offer the offerings in the morning, clean it in the evening. You can offer it in the evening, clean it in the morning. You can offer it and you can offer it now, and a few hours later you can have it clean. It just depends on your schedule. There's no hard and fast rule. The Buddhas always accept your offerings that's from your heart as and when you like. And then you can, what I have here is black rice. The black rice just looks nicer with the bowls. With the white rice look kind of loud. So I like things aesthetically beautiful. And so the apple, when you offer, you can use the apple for a few days as offering, or you can use it daily. After that, you can take the apple and you can eat it as a blessing. You can give it to your children. The water you can drink, or you can use for cooking, or you can put it on flowers or plants. Okay, you can change it every single day. So this is a nice, simple offering altar that you can use with the Buddhas, any Buddha. You can even have a picture of just your teacher, just your guru. All right? So you can have just the Buddha and nobody else. You can have just Dorje Shugden. Up to you. And Buddhas, whatever Buddhas you put together is beautiful and perfect, because Buddhas don't fight with each other. Buddhas don't have conflict. They don't get jealous of each other, and they don't have competition with each other. What you put there is your personal affinity. So Buddha Shakyamuni, Lama Tsongkhapa, Guru Rinpoche, Lama Dorje Shugden. In front of that is the sensory offerings for the senses. And then you have the water offerings here. And then over here you have a sirkin for Dorje Shugden's black tea offering. Black tea offering is called sirkin. And then you have flowers in the front. And this is just a simple little altar to show everyone what an altar looks like. And also, if you're not able to afford statues or have statues obtained, that's okay. On tsemrinpoche.com, the website, I provided you with many very high resolution pictures of different Buddhas and protectors and Dorje Shugden and enlightened beings that you can print out for free. I don't charge people for those. I have sponsored hundreds of tankas, brocade paintings, and of different traditions, and I've uploaded them on my website for people to download. For the reason is because a lot of people cannot afford posters. And even if the posters or pictures of the Buddhas are affordable, the shipping costs are very expensive. And to help people defray their expenses, because times are hard in many places, I have provided a lot of free downloads of Buddhas, Yidams, Protectors, Dorje Shugden. So you can go on my website and you can download whatever you want and share it and print it out. They can print out to 16 by 24 big posters. It's all for free. All right? So this is a shrine that has statues. I have set up another shrine for you that is no statues, and it can be just printed images. If we move over here to this other side, you can take a look. We're going to pan it over. All right? And there it is. So this one has no statues. This is for someone who maybe doesn't want statues or cannot afford statues or don't have space for statues or don't understand what it is. This is a shrine that is just printed. So I have these images. On the left is Buddha Shakyamuni. In Byzantine style, I have commissioned this painting. And the person at the bottom offering incense to him is a great disciple of Buddha's. Her name is Magadha Sangmo. So Magadha Sangmo is offering incense to the Buddha. And that's Buddha Shakyamuni on the left. On the right is Dorje Shugden. And I have scanned these paintings in, and they are on the website. So you can print it out. So you can have just a print and frame it and put it on your shrine, or add it to whatever you have on your shrine already. And then in front you have the same thing. You can see on the right in front of Dorje Shugden is a bluish glass. That is a sirkim. You don't have to use the Tibetan traditional sirkim. You can just put black tea or tea in a glass. And then you can see the offering, sensory offerings in the front, and then a set of waters and some flowers and incense. So this is another type of altar you can have. These are just ideas, but you're not restricted to having just these altars. These are just ideas. So it's an altar with statues, and it's another altar with no statues. Can be print out items from wherever you are. And I just hope that you will print out enlightened beings images and put on your shrine in your homes to bless your homes, bless your family, bless your pets, bless the environment, and chase away negative energy. All right? So once you have your shrine set up, then you can proceed to the actual prayers that I have compiled for you. And those are not very long, and I'll go through with you, and then maybe I'll answer a few questions if there are, and then we're done. Okay? This whole live streaming is for people around the world who have a lot of problems or have problems, and they may not have a spiritual mentor nearby. They may not have a Dharma center nearby. They may not have someone they can consult. Or maybe it's too far for them, or they're not able to. So this live streaming is for people around the world who need spiritual help, protection, some guidance, some love, some prayers that they can do at home for free, without signing up anything, without joining anything, without being a part of anything. They can do right here. Are we okay? Okay. So this live streaming is for people around the world who really don't have a teacher, or their teacher has passed away, or it's too far, or they don't have access to a Dharma center. They don't know how to get rid of or bless or expel negative energy or occult beings. They are having financial problems, health problems, spiritual problems. They're having issues. They're having difficulties, illness, whatever they have. Then I'm offering this to everybody, that they can do this prayer, and they can do it every day consistently, to invoke upon the energy of Dorje Shugden to help them solve their problems. Because I wish all of you to overcome your problems and to have a happy life and to have a positive spiritual journey. That's what I'm hoping. That is my motivation for doing this. So what we'll start we'll start by reciting refuge. I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. We recite that 3 times. The next one we recite is generating Bodhichitta. All right? And this prayer is in that block site. This prayer is in this block site. And you can download it for free. It's in PDF form. Okay? Next one would be, in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, until enlightened, I seek refuge. Through giving and other perfections to aid all, may I become a Buddha. Recite that 3 times. Then the next one is, may all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from happiness, free of suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and aversion. Okay? Now, first we take refuge in the Buddha. If you're not Buddhist, you don't have to take refuge. You can take refuge in whatever you believe in. You can take refuge in Krishna. You can take refuge in Jesus. You can take refuge in Mother Mary. You can take refuge in Durga. You can take refuge in whatever you believe in. To practice Dorje Shugden, you don't have to be a Buddhist. You don't have to convert. You don't have to change your religion. You don't have to change who you are, because enlightened beings are not bound by labels of what we label ourselves. They are not bound by the boundaries we make for ourselves, and people make boundaries using religion. So enlightened beings do not see boundaries. They see your suffering. They have great compassion. They wish to help you. Okay? So the first one is so when you do this prayer, you don't have to be a Buddhist. You don't have to be Gelugpa. You don't have to be a Nyingma. You don't have to be anything. You can be just a person who needs help. All right? And you can do it with all your other prayers every single day as and when you like. Now, you take refuge, then you take bodhicitta, you generate bodhicitta, then the 4 immeasurables. After that, you do a praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. And it goes like this. O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel, your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands, I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart. Please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of your mind and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may all holy Dharma flourish forevermore. That was composed by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso, which is very beautiful. After you recite that prayer to Shakyamuni, you recite this mantra 7 or more times, depending on how much time you have. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni Soha. 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 There are many versions of Shakyamuni's mantra. This is one version. Then you can recite Lama Tsongkhapa's name mantra. Om A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kijasidi Hom Hom. Om A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kijasidi Hom Hom. Om A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kijasidi Hom Hom. Om A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hom Hom. Om A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kijasidi 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 Hom Hom. Then you can recite more if you have time. Then you can recite Guru Rinpoche's mantra. Om Ahum Benza Guru Padma Siddhi Hom. 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 So Then after that, you have invoked the blessings of Buddha, Lama Tsongkhapa, and Guru Rinpoche, who represents all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and deities. Then you see these offerings that we have set out here. The sirkim, the candles, the flowers, the sensory offerings in water. You see all these offerings. We have to consecrate these offerings. There are many methods to consecrate it, but we're going to do the sutra way, the simpler way for the general lay person. So you can recite the following offering mantra to purify the offerings. There are many ways to pronounce it. You can pronounce it more Sanskrit or more Tibetan. I'm going to do the Tibetan pronunciation because that's where I got from my teachers, but you can pronounce it more Sanskrit if you wish. So this is what you recite to bless the offerings. Oma namo bhagavate benza sawa pamadane tadagataya arhate samyasam buddhaya teyada om benza maha teja benza maha vidya benza maha bodhichitta benza maha bodhi mando pasam kramana benza sawa kama avarane vishudane benza soha. Okay, you can recite that once, twice, or 3 times, and you should think all the offerings are pure and clear and very purified. And that when the Buddhas see these offerings, they don't see them as small little amounts, but they're actually very large, huge amounts to fill up the space. And when the Buddhas see them, they generate great bliss, they generate great wisdom, and they remove a lot of negative karma associated with miserliness from our continuum. They remove a lot of karma, is purified, related to miserliness in this and previous lives. So we should think that the blessings for the offering to the Buddhas are purified after we recite that mantra. Then we go next to inviting Dorje Shugden. All right? Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom. Dorje Shugden is said to abide in the 5 peaks of Manjushri, which is a holy place in China, in Tashi Lungpo Monastery belonging to His Holiness Panchen Lama, in Ganden Monastery, in Sakya Mukchuk, in the great Sakya temple of Tibet, of the Sakya tradition. He is said to abide also in Shambhala, which is the mystical place associated with Kala Chakra in the Himalayas, and Kichara, which is the holy place of Vajrayogini and Hiruka. All right? So, he is said to abide in these places all together and simultaneously. So when we do his invocation, we're inviting him from these holy places to our presence. So the invocation is this. Hong. Before myself is the Idam deity in the midst of a wind-swept dark red fire. On a terrifying, magnificent lion, trampling enemies and obstructors on a lotus in the sun is our supreme heart jewel Dhammapala. Here, trampling enemies and obstructors is referring to ignorance, hatred, desire, jealousy, anger. That is our enemies and obstructors. Okay? And Dorje Shugden tramples on these. Then it says here, mighty Gyalchen Dorje Shugden, adorned with robes of a monk on his body, wearing the golden domed hat on his head, holding raised a sword and enemy heart in his hands, with a manner of delight towards the practitioner, and a fierce expression which destroys enemies and obstructors. He is surrounded by an ocean-like host of retinue, such as his chief attendant, Kanchemapo. Raise the light from my heart, invite from the natural sphere and the individual palaces wherever they abide. The wisdom beings who are in one instant are invited and become inseparable with the commitment beings. By reciting this, you have invoked the presence of Dorje Shugden, and you should feel he's in front of you, and he is looking at you and smiling and very happy with you. You should think that. All right? If you are adept in using the rituals, such as Vajra and Bell and Damaru, at this time you can ring your bell and Damaru with music accompanying his coming. You offer up the music. It's just like when a dignitary comes, you play it's a marching band kind of thing. All right? So if you don't have any ritual instruments, it's okay. You just recite that and you welcome him here. Because you have prepared the offerings and all that, and incense, so you're welcoming here. The next thing is you recite Hom. With devotion, I prostrate with body, speech, and mind and make offerings, both outer and inner, with flowers, incense, and light, perfume, food, and sacred substances. Collections of tormas, strong drinks, tea, buttered tsampa, milk, and yogurt, actually arranged and mentally visualized, filling the whole of space. Samaya substances, fulfillment substances, basal substances, and mantric substances, outer, inner, and secret, favorite visual objects, and fragrant smoke offerings. With my offering of these filling the space, O entourage, may you be satisfied and restore degenerated commitments. So this one is, the first one is offering obeisance with body, speech, and mind and making offerings. The second one is purifying the negative karma we have committed. The third one is all of our mistaken actions of body, speech, and mind, which have contradicted the mind of the great Dhammapala. Dharmapala is a Sanskrit word for Dharma Protector. So this refers to Dorje Shugden. Which have contradicted the mind of the great Dhammapala, we confess from the heart, quickly purify them, and care for us with compassion like a mother for her child. So we're asking Dorje Shugden to forgive our transgresses, but still take care of us as a mother for her child in that sort of compassion. This heartfelt exhortation of you, Supreme Deity, is to spread and increase victorious Losang's tradition, to extend the life and dominion of the glorious gurus, and to increase and study the practice of communities of Sangha. Never be separated from me like a body in its shadow. May you dispel adverse conditions and obstructors without exception. Accomplish favorable conditions and desires as I wish, and protect and care for me without ever a break. Now, let's go back 2 paragraphs where it says here, this is a heartfelt exhortation, Supreme Deity, is to spread and increase a victorious Losang tradition. The Karmakajus have a special protector of their lineage that they ask to spread the Karmakaju lineage. The Drikung Kajus have a special protector to spread the Drikung lineage. The Sakyas have the same, and so on and so on. So in this one, since the person who composed this was a Gelugpa practitioner, he's requesting Dorje Shugden to spread victorious Losang's tradition. Losang is Tsongkhapa's tradition. But instead of thinking only Losang's tradition, we have to think all of Buddhist tradition, all lineages, all practices. So this applies to all lineages and all practices. All right, so let's go down again to where we were. We've already read this heartfelt exhortation of you, Supreme Deity, is to spread and increase victorious Losang's tradition, to extend the life and dominion of the glorious gurus, and to increase the studying practice communities of Sangha. Never be separated from me like a body in its shadow. May you dispel adverse conditions and obstructors without exception. Accomplish favorable conditions and desires as I wish, and protect and care for me without ever a break. Especially the time has come now to show directly your unobstructed might in quick, decisive, enlightened conduct. Of the 4 activities to swiftly accomplish our deepest heartfelt desires according to our wishes. The time has come to judge the truth in accord with the law of causality. The time has come to clear the innocent of accusations. The time has come to protect the humble who are without protector. The time has come to nurture Dharma practitioners like your children. In short, from now until attaining the essence of enlightenment, since we venerate you as the embodiment of the Guru and the Protector, may you protect us uninterruptedly with your enlightened activity and watch over us during the 3 periods of the day and the 3 periods of the night. Then we make offerings of the sensory offerings by reciting the next mantra once. Oma Dhamma Pala Maha Renza Benza Begawa Ruja Benza Kula Sabariwara Agon Pantian Pube Dube Aloke Gende Nuende Shabda Partita Soha. So when we recite that mantra, we have made the offering of sensory offerings to the 3 jewels and Dorje Shugden. And don't worry if when you recite these mantras, you sound like you're ordering pizza at an Italian restaurant. Nobody can recite these mantras perfectly and with perfect pronunciation if you're not a certain dialect in Tibetan. So when you're reciting this and your spouse or your children think you're ordering pizza, just say, I'm not ordering pizza, I'm ordering blessings from Dorje Shugden. So people always say, what happens, Rinpoche, if I don't recite the mantra perfectly? Do I still get the blessing? I say, of course you get the blessing. Dorje Shugden is not so petty that if you recite it wrong, he won't bless you. All right? So let's say that your mantra sounds like this. Om Badi Bulu Bala Bulu Dabo Balo Katubatu Balo Ubarupi. Will Dorje Shugden understand your unique pronunciation of the mantra of offering? Of course he will. He's Manjushri. You see, it's not so much how well you pronounce the mantra. It's how sincere you are. sincerity is the key. Okay? So, if you pronounce the mantra completely wrong or off key or off pronunciation, the effect is still there if you're sincere. The next one is the inner offering. If you have an inner offering, if you don't, you just simply recite it. Oma Dhamma Pala Maha Rinza Benza Begama Ruja Benza Kula Sabari Wara Oma Ahong. If you have an inner offering, you take some and you flick it, offer it to Dorje. If you don't have to worry, just recite it. Then the next one is praise. By just recollecting you for an instant, outer and inner obstructions are dispelled. O powerful five families of Gyalchen Shugden, bestower of the four activities through the Dhammapala and his entourage, I bow down. So, the invitation, the 7 limbs, or the 7 limb-ish, and also making offerings, sensory offerings are complete. And then there's a little prayer that I composed for everyone to do that is more modern and today and maybe even a little bit more relatable. So this is a daily request for wealth, peace, and protection. I repeat, a daily request for wealth, peace, and protection. And it goes like this, which is available on the website. In the heavens, there are myriad manifestations of the divine. All those manifestations specifically show us different aspects of divinity in order to be of benefit to all living beings. All the Rupakaya forms of the divine have compassion, skillful means, and wisdom. We invoke upon them whether we are happy, sad, down, lost, fulfilled, confused, empty, and during the whole range of emotions we constantly experience due to an untrained mind. Understanding our nature, great wisdom being Dorje Shugden. Therefore, all the more so, please hold us close to your bosom as an only child to a parent. Through the manifestations of the divine, though the manifestations of the divine need no offerings and gifts from us, we offer you Supreme Manjushri Dorje Shugden, a libation of tea, incense, and mantras, in order to ask you to bless us to be part of our lives, to abide in our dwellings, and to give us signs, omens, and portents of good and bad. When negative arises, quell them immediately. Please increase the positive for my weary and worn mind as I lay hopes in you. When difficulties, problems, and confusions arise, we ask you, who is but the culmination of all that is powerful, holy, and omniscient, to bless myself, family, loved ones, environment, and even my pets. May I see wisdom, find hope, and be at peace. I request you, O divine Bhagawan Dorje Shugden, who wears a round dome hat and the 3 robes of a saffron bhikshu, who wields a sword of liberty, justice, and wisdom, and clutches a wish-fulfilling jewel, who rides on a supreme line of subjugation of all that is negative, to fulfill my wishes. I understand my wishes may not be the best, so I surrender to your wisdom for the outcome, though it may not be what I have in mind. I repeat, I understand my wishes may not be the best, so I surrender to your wisdom for the outcome, though it may not be what I have in mind. Please bless myself and everyone that we may enter into the supreme city of liberation. Great Bhagawan Dorje Shugden, I request you sincerely from my heart to be a part of my life. Bless my home and grant me wisdom, solace, and comfort, that I might be of service to others without agenda, and that I may focus out onto others and not be fixated on myself, creating more problems for all that I hold dear. Bless me to be kinder, wiser, more compassionate, tolerant, and very forgiving to all those who hurt and love me. In order to become close to you, Dorje Shugden, we must surrender the banal. We must abandon fixed views, projections, and rigidity. Lastly, in my final moment when I leave this plane of existence, only the positive actions I have done will matter, as everything and everyone will be left behind. Let me realize this and act upon this now. And this crucial moment, please may I have a vision of yourself, the powerful, merciful Dorje Shugden, to take me to where I may course in the sky to continue my journey of spiritual waxing. I offer you saffron-colored tea and my faith to fulfill my prayers and gain siddhis. By reciting your mantra, may healing, peace, love, long life, protection, and perfect view of shunyata arise. Then at this time, depending on how much time you have, you recite Dorje Shugden's mantra. If you have a rosary, you may use it. If you don't, you can just recite it. And you can use the rosary in your left hand or your right hand. And you can hold it on your first finger, second finger, third, or fourth. It doesn't matter. First finger represents peaceful attainments. Second finger is increased. Third finger is control attainments. And the last finger is wrathful attainments. So for most people, you use the finger that you like and you're comfortable. And you pull the beads towards you. It's like you're pulling the blessings towards you. So you will be pulling, you recite one mantra per bead. Some people are very entertaining. They recite one mantra and they go 5 beads. I found that very entertaining. I thought, oh, that's a unique way. But usually it's one mantra, one bead. One mantra, one bead, okay? And then when you get to the head, some people say, oh, I can't cross over it because it's bad luck. I was thinking, you can cross over it. Okay, so some people get to the end, they go, Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso, Om Benza Wipinaso, 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 Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso. Then they do a big procedure, turn around and go like that because they can't go over it because it's bad luck. I don't know who taught them that because I've never seen that. But in reality, you can go over. It's just a counter. There's nothing in here. There's no relic, nothing. It's just a counter. So you recite Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso, 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 Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso. 108 per mala, rosary, and then if you want to continue, you continue Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso. So for today, because time is short, we'll recite it 21 times. Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso, 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 Om Benza Wiki Bitanaso Ha. Then you've concluded. All right? If you wish to do retreat, you can do this whole compilation 2 or 3 times a day. And when you come to the mantra part, you can do extra of the mantra to collect the amount that you like. It would be nice to do these mantras about 100,000 a year. You can take time to do it slowly because it's quite easy. It's short. So when you're doing the retreat, let's say that you set aside 7 days to do it. You can do 4 sessions a day. You can do morning. You can do morning, then you can do afternoon, evening, and late evening. And then at each session, you do the whole puja, and then you recite the mantra. At the mantra part, you can collect, you can record how much you have recited up to 100,000. If you can't do 100,000, you do as much as you can. And then, do you have to do the mantra in accordance with this puja? No. You can do the mantra separate of it as and when you feel comfortable. You can do it while you're watching TV. You can do it while you're on a bus. You can do it when you're going for a walk. You can do it to bless your pets. It's wonderful to recite these mantras and bless your pets. Shakyamuni's mantra, Guru Rinpoche's mantra, Tsongkhapa's mantra, Dorje Shugden's mantra is wonderful to bless your pets with it. Let them hear it, and you can blow on them after you recite it. So it's very good to do that every day for your pets. And if your pets are alive, to do that every day so that they can reincarnate as a spiritual practitioner in their next life. If they have passed away, you can always visualize them or hold a piece of their toys or their clothing or maybe some hair or even their picture. Visualize them and blow the mantra onto their picture or their items. And then wish for them to take good rebirth. All right? So after you recite the mantra, then you go to the final part. I dedicate this supreme heartfelt, then you continue by reading, I dedicate this supreme heartfelt prayer to all-knowing celestial and supreme protector Dorje Shugden, that I may quickly become a being of light, compassion, love, and enlightenment. Okay, and you finish the prayer. Now we're going to do the recitation of the black tea. The recitation of the black tea is offering black tea to Dorje Shugden, all the Dharma protectors, Dorje Shugden's entourage of 9 mothers, 8 guiding monks, and 10 youthful and wrathful assistants, and his special secretary, Kachimapo, and his special assistant, Nankapazan. Okay, and also the black tea includes the protector Setrap, who abides in Dorje Shugden's mandala. On Dorje Shugden's mandala, there's 3 levels. The first level is Dorje Shugden. The upper level is Setrap. The highest level on top is Amitabha Buddha. So in Dorje Shugden's mandala, the highest point, Tse, is Amitabha, the Buddha in Dorje Shugden's mandala. The next level down is Setrap. The next level below that is Dorje Shugden, is entourage. The different levels doesn't represent rank. It represents, well, I mean, not everybody can fit on the first floor, perhaps. Okay, so that's his mandala. Amitabha on the top floor. Next floor down, Setrap. The next floor down is Dorje Shugden, is entourage and Kachamapo. Okay? Then we offer black tea. If we have a special pressing problem, if we have a special pressing issue, we should offer the black tea very, very well from our heart and request Dorje Shugden's help. So this is how it goes. We bless the black tea by reciting the Cloud Dharani mantra. Now we recite the liturgy for Sirkim or black tea. All right, let me see. I have put in here a beautiful little prayer right above the black tea that says, Melody of Unceasing Vajra. And that is a wonderful prayer to Dorje Shugden, written by His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, when he was in Dunkar Monastery. All right? And it's very, very beautiful because at that time His Holiness was only 16 years old. And he already showed his power, his wisdom, and his ability of composition. In Dunkar Monastery, they had an oracle of Dorje Shugden. The oracle of Dorje Shugden took trance and spoke to Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama was so impressed and so taken and so moved by what Dorje Shugden had said. Immediately after that audience, the 16-year-old Dalai Lama composed a prayer to Dorje Shugden, which is right here. Okay? So, if you have time, you can recite that prayer, which is called the Melody of Unceasing Vajra, written by the Dalai Lama. If you don't have time, you can skip over it. It's okay also. Now we go to the Sirkim. Okay, we go to the Sirkim. Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom. The Sirkim can be black tea, can be milk, can be carbonated drinks. It can be fruit teas, whatever you like to drink yourself. After you're done with it, if you wish to drink it, you can drink it. If you wish to put it in the garden, you can put it in the garden. All right? So this is how you recite the black tea, and we continue doing this. Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom, Ahom, Hong. O Gurus who rain down accumulations of excellence, fulfilling all of our own and others' purposes. And Yidams who bestow all ordinary and supreme attainments, through this offering, you, this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you have partaken swiftly and spontaneously accomplish all our wishes. The usual Tibetan will have an empty vessel, and then they'll have a pitcher, and the tea is there, and as you recite the word, the sentence, through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, they pour a little. Then the next line they recite that, they pour a little. The next line they recite that, they pour a little, and at the end it's full. I don't do that. I don't pour a little bit. I just fill it, and it's there, and I ask Dorje Shugden to enjoy it. So you will see here in asterisk, you pour it at the time you recite that line. You don't have to do that. You can just put it in front of you, and you can recite the verses. So you don't actually have to pour it one by one if you don't choose to, or you can pour it one by one till it fills up. Okay? So, Hong. O Gurus who rain down accumulations of excellence, fulfilling our own and others' purposes, and Yidams who bestow all ordinary and supreme attainments. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken swiftly and spontaneously, accomplish our wishes. That's number one. That's to all the Gurus and to the Yidams. The next one. All hosts of heroes and dakinis of 3 places, an ocean of powerful oath-bound Dharma protectors. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. So the next one that I just read is all the dakinis, dakas and dakinis, and also to the Dharma protectors, all Dharma protectors. The next line is the Dorje Shugden, and especially supreme, super mundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. We should recite that 3 or 7 times. And especially Supreme Super Mundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you have in partaking swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially Supreme Super Mundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you have in partaking swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. Then you go to the next line, to the different families of Dorje Shugden, which is the peaceful Dorje Shugden, the increased Dorje Shugden, the controlled Dorje Shugden, and the wrathful Dorje Shugden. O 5 families who unobstructedly bestow infinite activities of peace, increased power, and wrath. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you have in partaking swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. The next line is offering tea to the entourage, the 9 mothers of Dorje Shugden's entourage, the 8 guiding monks, and the 10 youthful and wrathful assistants. O 9 beautiful consorts, 8 guiding monks, and 10 fierce attendant young guardians, and so forth. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you have in partaking swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. The next one is to Setrap Hri, especially principal guardian of the Conqueror's teachings. Setrap Chen, along with your entourage to you, this golden drink replete with all one could wish is offered, never waver in your protection. Hri, especially principal guardian of the Conqueror's teachings. Setrap Chen, along with your entourage to you, this golden drink replete with all one could wish is offered, never waver in your protection. Hri, especially principal guardian of the Conqueror's teachings. Setrap Chen, along with your entourage to you, this golden drink replete with all one could wish is offered, never waver in your protection. 3 or 7 times. The next one is the attendant of Dorje Shugden, Kachimapo. O extremely fierce Kachimapo, the strict attendant, executioner of those with degenerate samaya. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. You can recite that once or 3 times. Next one is this drink of fully boiling sirkim, offered to Nangka Bazin entourage, accepting accomplished yogis' intended purpose, as well as the inconceivable emanations and their emanations. So the last line is offering black tea to all the emanations of Dorje Shugden and their emanations which are countless, as well as to the inconceivable emanations and their emanations. Attendant deities, demons who shape the 3,000 worlds. Demons in this case are highly enlightened beings who manifest in the form of demons to frighten away actual demons. All right? So they're not demons, they take on that form. It's kind of like Halloween to scare away the real spirits, who shake the 3,000 worlds. Through you offering this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. Thus, by the force of this offering exhortation, may you grant your activity throughout the 6 time periods, and without wavering always protect me and care for me like a father for his son. And you, host of wrathful attendants as well, remember your sworn oaths of promise to Lord Dunzin, and accomplish swiftly now, without distraction, whatever activities I have requested. Then your sekam is finished. And it says in the second line of the last paragraph, remember your sworn oaths of promise to Lord Dunzin. Dorje Shugden's entourage made a promise to Lord Dunzin. Who is Lord Dunzin? Lord Dunzin is Dorje Shugden in the form of a Dharma teacher. Remember, Dorje Shugden was many great teachers in his previous lives. So one of his previous lives was Dunzin Chapa Gensen. So many beings on Dorje Shugden's entourage has promised Dorje Shugden when he was a Lama, when he was in his peaceful form, that they will guard the Buddha's teachings. Then it ends there. Then when you finish all that, so we've done the refuge, we've done generating bodhicitta, shunyata, we've done the 4 immeasurables, then we evoke Dorje Shugden. After we have evoked Dorje Shugden, we have done a little prayer that I have composed to invoke his blessings. Then we do his mantra. Then after his mantra, we did black tea. And once we finished black tea, we're finished. So what you can do now at this point is you can visualize Dorje Shugden dissolve into a golden orb of light. the size of your thumbnail. And this orb of light contains the essence of Manjushri. Manjushri's wisdom, Manjushri's wisdom, compassion. Manjushri's great skillful means. And in fact, it contains all the Buddha's blessings in this orb of light, because Manjushri is inherent in all Buddhas. There is no Buddha without Manjushri energy, without Manjushri. Then this little orb of light, who is Manjushri Dorje Shugden, who is one, dissolves into the crown of your head, goes down your central channel and comes to your heart area, and your mind, which abides in your heart area, and Dorje Shugden becomes one. Then you think very strongly, myself and Manjushri Dorje Shugden have become one. I gain wisdom, good memory, compassion, wisdom, tolerance, effort, asceticism. I gain all the qualities. And they open up my good karma to practice the path to enlightenment. By dissolving Dorje Shugden into me, it triggers and opens up my karma that is latent to practice spirituality, to become enlightened, to benefit others. By dissolving Manjushri Dorje Shugden into my mind stream, it triggers the karma that I have latent, that I have prayed for, dedicated for in previous lives and in this life. It opens those karma to continue my spiritual practice, to become an enlightened being, to be a benefit to others. And you rest in that. And then you can visualize the light growing and surrounding your body like an egg, and you're inside this egg. Protected. No black magic, no evil spirit, no negative force or demons, or no power on this earth or beyond or any of the three dimensions can penetrate this light of Manjushri Dorje Shugden's wisdom, and you are protected. Sometimes people go to a cemetery, they come back, they feel some negative energies follow them. Sometimes they go to the cemetery alone, they come back, they have friends. Some people, when they're sleeping, they feel something is pressing on them. Some people, they get depressed, they don't know why. Some people, maybe they go to someone's house and there was some problems there, they come back, they feel very down, they feel very bad. Sometimes they go to some areas that are haunted, or some places that have a lot of negative energy, where a lot of killing or wars, or people were hurt, or some disaster had happened, and so a lot of people died there. So there's a lot of negative energy in that area. And if we're sensitive, when we come back, we don't know why, we don't feel so good. So when we do this Dorje Shugden practice, and we surround ourselves in his orb of light, we are protected. Nothing can penetrate, and we will be fine. So you can tell every negative force out there, bring it on. Bring it on and do what you want, because nothing can penetrate this force field. You know, has anybody ever watched Star Trek, Star Wars? You know those fabulous ships, they have a force field, nothing can penetrate, and if their energy is low, it penetrates. Well, Dorje Shugden's force field never runs out of energy, and it's very powerful. You know, Darth Vader can come and shoot you, and it won't penetrate. Okay, Darth Vader is your negative mind. Then you might be clever and say, well, if my negative mind's on the outside, how is it going to protect me if I have an orb of light surrounding? Doesn't it trap my negative mind inside? No, the orb of light penetrates you inside out and then burns up your negative mind there. Okay? So that's for the clever people. And then, if some of you have, and with the deepest respect, if some of you have some illness or some disease, and you're suffering a lot, then you can do this. When Dorje Shugden dissolves into an orb of light, the size of a thumbnail, he goes into the crown of your head, and it goes to the place of your illness. Let's say you have some illness at the heart, maybe the liver, maybe your back, maybe your leg. You dissolve that light and you visualize that light. You visualize that light going to the afflicted place and generating a lot of heat and energy there and healing it. And think about that, healing that area, healing, and believe that area is being healed. Along with taking medicine, taking care of your health, and seeing the doctor. Visualize that healing you. And then you finish. if there's a particular person that is having problems or issues or difficulties, you can visualize the orb of light going to them and dissolving into them and healing them, removing their issues, protecting them and blessing them, whether they're alive or dead. All right? We can, something I do is when people ask me for prayers, I usually take their picture and I do some mantras and I put it under a Dorje Shugden statue. So I have a Dorje Shugden statue in my room where I have a see-through container and he sits on that. And there I put pictures of people who have requested prayers, animals that have died, people who have passed away, people who are alive, animals who are sick. And I put their pictures inside and I recite my prayers and I ask Dorje Shugden to bless them every single day. The symbology is that they are under Dorje Shugden and protected by him. So we can do that too. Okay? Then after you finish this short prayer, I mean it's long because I'm explaining it, but it's actually quite short. After you finish this short prayer, we do a dedication. The dedication goes like this. Precious Supreme Bodhi Mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Precious View of Shunyata, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, and increase forevermore. Through this virtue, may I swiftly attain the Guru Buddha state, and place each being and every being. May I place each and every being without exception into that state. May all be auspicious day and night. May all be auspicious, increase both day and night. May all auspicious, let me say that again. May all be auspicious day and night. May auspiciousness increase both day and night, like the sun rising to its highest in the heavens. 3 jewels of refuge, please bless us. That's the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. 3 jewels of refuge, please bestow attainments. May there be auspiciousness of the 3 jewels. And then our puja is done. So that's a very short little puja we can do every single day. That's a short puja we can do every single day. That's a short puja we can do every single day. I think if you do it without my explanations, you just read through it, I think it won't take you more than 20 minutes. I think you, your family, your pets, your loved ones, the people who passed away are worth those 20 minutes. They're worth your attention, they're worth your time. And if the people you love and both passed away, deceased and alive, and the pets you love, both deceased and alive, and yourself that you should love, if you're worth it, then take 20 minutes out per day and do this puja every single day without a break. It should be like eating. If you don't eat, you can't go another day unless you're fasting, right? It should be like eating. So, it's very important that we do this every single day. We can do it for other people. We can do it for people of other religions and send them good energy. Good energy is good energy. Good energy is good energy. Doesn't matter what religion. Okay? The blessings of Dorje Shugden is like gold. There's no Indian gold. There's no Arabic gold. There's no African gold. There's no Chinese gold. There's no American gold. Gold is gold. Gold is the same. Blessing is the same. Okay? And then let me reiterate, you can be any religion you like, or no religion, to do this puja. Why? Divinity, the divine, the highest of the high, do not have any religion. Those are man-made. Those are labels created by human beings. All humans, no matter what religion, they label themselves, or they don't label themselves any religion, deserve love, compassion, help, blessings, guidance, freedom, and long life, and peace. So you can't be a certain religion, then only you pray to that certain God, and then they help you. That doesn't sound like a God to me. That sounds like something made up by people to control people. So what I believe is divinity, in this case, Dorje Shugden, blesses everyone, no matter what religion you are. Jesus should bless everyone. God should bless everyone. Krishna should bless everyone. Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu should bless everyone no matter what religion they are, as long as you call out to them. You don't have to be any religion or belong to any religion or subscribe or convert. Divinity is compassionate and open to everyone. It's just that divinity shows different faces to different people at different times. Divinity shows different faces to different people at different times. So we don't need to argue which is the real religion, which is the real divinity. We just follow the one that we feel close to. And that's perfect. Because we have to set our own path. No one can set it for us. All right? So, what incense can you use when you do this? Any incense you have. Any Tibetan incense, herbal incense, Western incense, Wiccan incense. You can use voodoo incense. You can use African incense. You can use smudging incense, American Indian incense, Chinese incense. Whatever incense you want to offer, it's symbolism. All right? Of the smell. What bowl can you use? Do you have to use Tibetan bowls like what I have here? No, you don't. You can use any. You can use porcelain bowls. You can use antique bowls. You can use gold bowls, silver bowls. You can use aluminum bowls. You can use anything you like from your heart. Glass bowls, paper cups, no problem. Let's say you're on a picnic. You want to do puja, Dorje Shugden. You put on paper cups, no problem. Picnic with Dorje Shugden. So, anything you like. Can you put other deities and other gods and other holy beings on your altar? Of course you can. We say this one is Buddhism, this one is Christian, this one is Hindu, this one is Zoroastrian, this one is Jain, this one is Shinto, this one is Zen. We say that. But guess what? If we go up there, they're all having a party together. They're all hanging out together. They're actually all one. So can you put other gods in your altar? Sure you can. Sure you can. All right? They won't fight. If they fight, they're not a god. Does the altar have to be in a particular room? Well, it'd be nice if they had their own room or the living room or their own little space. I mean, if you're in your bedroom and you're sleeping at night, you're snoring away, sometimes you let out some flatulations, and sometimes you're nude, sometimes your nightgown goes up, sometimes you're doing things, maybe you're watching a movie, you're screaming, I don't know. You're doing all kinds of things in the bedroom. Maybe it's not very respectful. But if you have no choice, the Buddhas never get angry. It's just creating the awareness of showing respect to enlightened beings. So basically they can be anywhere except the toilet. All right? Do you need ritual items to do these? Well, if you can learn the ritual items, they do have a purpose. The high lamas use them not because they're bored and they're just twiddling their thumbs and they want to keep their thumbs and fingers occupied during puja or keep them warm in cold weather. They're actually using rituals and doing mudras as the offering to the Buddhas. So if you know the rituals and you need ritual items, you can use them. If you don't have them, it's also okay. All right? Do you need empowerment to do Dorje Shugden's practice? This particular practice I'm showing you, this one that I'm showing you today, you do not need empowerment. You do not need oral transmission. You do not need permission. You can just go ahead and do it. No harm, no negativity will come from it. And you can do it in conjunction with your other practices. You can do it as your only practice. You can do it as your main practice. You can do it as a side practice. Up to you and what you prefer. Everybody is individual and they have their own needs. So you shape this according to your needs. Okay? So I repeat. The practice I'm teaching you today, you do not need initiation or transmission. You do not need any special rituals. You don't need any special permission. You can just do it. Okay? Do you have to set up an altar to do your practice? If you can set up an altar, it's just a nice place for you to do visualization, sit in front of. If you cannot, no problem. And where can you do the puja? You can do it in a park. You can do it, you can recite the mantra on a bus. You can do it you can do it anywhere where it's convenient, that doesn't disturb others. Okay? And I think that's what I wanted to share with everyone. And let me see if there's any questions. Get my little tablet out. Maybe some of the questions I've answered. Let me see. Where would they be? Here they are. Nope, I don't see it. All right. Okay, there are some questions here. Why is life so difficult? Why are we very shy, and how do we get rid of laziness? Life is difficult because we have a perception and we have a projection of life, how life should be. When something in life doesn't fit our projection, then we label that difficult. There can be people living in a wild forest. They have no running water, they have no heat, they have no electricity, and they collect their water from a river, and they cook their food with firewood, and their life is very basic, and they feel very happy. And there could be people, they feel very happy, they feel very fulfilled. There could be people who live in a big city with electric water, with electric, with water, running water, with air conditioning, and they have all the luxuries and all the delights of a modern house, and they feel like their life is so difficult, they don't have enough, they feel unfulfilled. So basically, life is difficult because of our projection and our expectation of what we feel life should be. And when it doesn't fill that expectation, we constantly think about it, and we constantly feel sad about it, and we create sufferings for ourselves. Does that mean there is no actual suffering or no actual difficult life? Of course there are people with difficult life, people who get very sick when they're very young, etc. Life is difficult. Life in samsara is difficult because of ignorance and the actions we create from ignorance. And from that, we have to experience the consequences of the karma we created from ignorance. Why are we shy? We are shy because we have a sense of self called the ego that we feel is very real. So if we do something wrong, we're afraid people are going to laugh at us, people are going to put us down, people are going to criticize us. Because we hold on and subscribe to this very strong ego, this sense of self that we are protecting, then we feel very shy and we dare not say anything or do anything to be criticized. How do we get rid of laziness? We get rid of laziness one day at a time. Whatever we need to do, we do it one day. Next day we do it, and we don't think about it, we just do it. When we do it one day at a time, we become used to it. It becomes a habit. Okay? Number 2. Guru, in our culture, we did many things to make happy a person who is not in this world. Is it compulsory to do that? I would think that this person is talking about doing rituals and pujas and offerings to someone who has passed away. And if we don't do that, they won't be happy. Well, some people do pass away and become spirits. So they do expect some offerings from us, some tea, some drinks, or something they feel familiar in life, or maybe a conversation. So if they don't get that, they feel unhappy, they create some upset in the family. But in most cases, people who passed away have already taken rebirth. Since they have taken rebirth, whatever you do for them, they're not going to know. So it's not necessary. And I think a lot of cultures who do things for the dead, I think it's more for the living, to feel that they have not forgotten the dead. So if your culture says that you have to do it and it's compulsory, maybe you should do it to make people in your family and your village feel happier, but it's not necessarily going to reach the person who has passed away. Number 3, Leyland Lama says, is there life after death? The whole basis of spirituality, of any religion, is based on the belief that there is life after death. Life after death definitely exists. In another day, in another session, I'll give you a more clear explanation of how the mind exists and how the mind is independent of the body and how the mind takes rebirth independent of the body. But because it's been quite a long transmission and I don't want to tire people out, just a quick answer. Yes, there is life after death, and there are 6 realms where we can take life after death and different types of rebirth. Okay? The next one. Where do we go after death? After death, after we die, where do we go? To 6 realms as specified by the Buddha. And to get into a more learning and understanding, would be very good to read the Lamrim text by His Holiness Kyabje Pabongka Dorje Chang. So if you can get a copy of Pabongka Rinpoche's Lamrim, you'll be able to see more clearly where do we go after death and how do we purify negative karma for those who have passed on. But in short, we can make statues dedicated for the people who have passed on. We can save the lives of animals for those who have passed on. We can print Dharma books for those who have passed on. We can take on the vows of a monk or a nun and hold the vows well and dedicate it for those who have passed on. We can decorate temples. We can do charity. We can feed the homeless. We can help those who are sick. And we can dedicate those merits for those who have passed on. So those we can do. They don't receive the full merits, but they'll receive a part of it. Okay, the next one is, how do we purify our pet's karma? Same. How we purify a pet's karma will be the same as purifying a human karma. The method, everything is the same. Next one. I recite Dorje Shugden's mantra every day. What mantra I recite first and what mantra I recite last? Is there a rule? There's no rule. The main mantra that you recite every day, Dorje Shugden, which would be more than enough, is Om Benza Wiki Bitsana Soha. The variations of his mantra you can recite as and when you need. You can recite all, you can recite none. There's no fixed rule how much you should recite, when you should recite, which one is first, which one's last. So the main one you recite is Om Benza Wiki Bitsana Soha. That would be very good. If you want to recite the other mantras, there's no fixed rule how much or which one's first. Okay? Next one. I don't have an altar at home. Can I pray every day without an altar? Of course you can. As I explained earlier, you don't have to have an altar to pray. Dorje Shugden's everywhere. Next one. What is the karmic impact if the person committing the wrong action do not think it's wrong due to cultural differences, expectations, and understanding? Well, karma is not culture-based. Karma is universal law. Whether a person believes it's negative karma or not, if the action harms, it will be negative karma. So what does that mean? That means that if we commit something that's negative, for example, if we steal, whatever culture we belong to, stealing is negative. Now, why are some people born into certain cultures that they don't believe certain actions are negative? Through karmic propensity, through karmic results, they're born into cultures that feel sometimes negative action is positive. Okay? Someone here does Zambala and Dorje Shugden. Is there any sequence to do Yellow Zambala's prayer? Well, that's very good. Yellow Zambala is a Buddha. It is on the refuge tree. It is a fully enlightened being. And one doesn't need to have any doubts in Yellow Zambala. One should do Yellow Zambala's practice every single day and do it well and recite the mantra well. Om Zambala Zalanjaya So, Om Zambala Zalanjaya So. After you finish Zambala's practice, then you do Dorje Shugden's practice, which I've taught you today. All right, eventually I'll get this whole thing into Chinese so that people who are Chinese speaking around the world, which I get a lot of questions from, can also do. But do Zambala's practice first, and then afterwards do Dorje Shugden's practice. The Yidam's practice is always first. The Yidam's practice is always first. Okay? Why are Setrap and Dorje Shugden in the same mandala? I've got some people in my mandala, I wonder why they're in my mandala too, but anyways, Why is Dorje Shugden and Satrap in the same mandala? When Dorje Shugden was a teacher, before he arose as a Dharma protector, one of the protectors he practiced was Satrap. So Dorje Shugden, when he was a guru, when he was a teacher, he was practicing Satrap as one of his Dharma protectors. So he's very, very close to Satrap. Because of that, after he arose as Dharma protector, Satrap and him kind of rented a place together and moved in together and became good friends. So after Dorje Shugden became a Dharma protector, they naturally have a strong connection and they work together to benefit others, and they decided to form a mandala together because they had a connection before Dorje Shugden was even a protector. Okay? Another protector that Dorje Shugden is very close to is Four-Faced Mahakala. Four-Faced Mahakala is very, very close. And Four-Faced Mahakala has many forms. He has the Four-Faced Mahakala, and also he appears as a Brahmin, Indian Brahmin, Mahasiddha kind of person. So that's called Brahma Rupa. All right? So Dorje Shugden is also very close to Brahma Rupa, or Four-Faced Mahakala, Gompo Sheshi Sena, Four-Faced Mahakala. Because also during his life he practiced Four-Faced Mahakala as one of his protectors. So Dorje Shugden practiced Four-Faced Mahakala, and he practiced Brahma Rupa, and he practiced Satrap very intimately. So when he became a protector, he arose and he's very close to them. Very close. Okay? This was shared to me by my teachers, by the way. Then a person here asked, can I keep giving out Dorje Shugden's pictures and pendants even if I'm not fully understand Dorje Shugden? Of course you can. You can give out Dorje Shugden's pictures, statues, pendants to people even if you don't understand Dorje Shugden well. For example, you don't have to understand what is in a multivitamin. You just know it's good and you can pass out to people. You don't have to wait till you understand the vitamins very well till you pass it out. If you know it's good, you pass it out to people, you pass out, you help them, as long as your motivation is to help them. All right? So can you pass out Dorje Shugden to people to other people when you don't understand Dorje Shugden well? Of course you can. Passing out something good can never bring something bad. Passing out something good can never bring something bad. What are the benefits of practicing Dorje Shugden related with depression? Well, for depression, we must seek proper medical help. We must go to a proper doctor and sometimes proper medication. When we pray to Dorje Shugden and we pray sincerely, a few things happen. Number one, he creates the merit so that you will find the method to end the depression, so that energy of depression will be purified. The second thing is, Dorje Shugden will help you find the correct medical doctor, find the resources, and find the medical clinic where it will suit you to get the help that you need. So Dorje Shugden, in relation to depression, can help us in many ways, such as the two examples I just gave. All right? The next one is, how do we know how much negative karma do we have, or do we just continue prayers consistently? You know your negative karma has ended and finished when you're sitting next to Shakyamuni Buddha and having coffee. No, that's a joke. You know your negative karma has ended when you yourself have become a Buddha. Until you're a Buddha, you know that you have karma to purify. So we should consistently do our prayers. Along with that, study of Dharma, application of Dharma, meditation, and holding vows. Okay? And after you start Dorje Shugden's practice, you may have some funny accidents. You may have some strange dreams. Or you may have some weird feelings or a little bit ups and downs. That's a very good sign. Why is that a very good sign? It means that this practice is purifying and straightening out your life. So if negative things are happening when you start doing Dorje Shugden's practice or Buddha's practice or any of these practices, it means the karma is being purified. How does it get purified? You have to experience the karma. It has to come out. It has to come out in a dream, or it has to come out by you experiencing it. So if negative things happen, or funny things happen, or accidents or whatever happened in the beginning, it is a sign that this practice is very good and you're purifying your karma. Okay? I think that's it, isn't it? All right. So today we have talked about how to do a Dorje Shugden practice, how to set up an altar, how to do a Dorje Shugden practice without initiation, oral transmissions, without any formal rituals and commitments and samaya. So let me have a little shakedown. I have received this practice of Dorje Shugden from my eminent Rinpoche here. You can see behind me on my shrine, His Holiness Kyabje Sarn Rinpoche. His Holiness Kyabje Sarn Rinpoche behind me is my root teacher, my root guru, the one who initiated me, the one who asked me to practice this practice. So I continue to practice to keep my commitment to my guru, as simple as that. Okay? This practice is 350 years old approximately, passed down through a long line of very eminent and erudite masters and teachers. Dorje Shugden's nature is that of Manjushri, or an emanation of Manjushri. His purpose is to remove obstacles, to purify, help you purify karma, to remove obstacles so that you can reach higher states of consciousness, and in between remove some immediate obstacles for your secular life or your normal life to be more smooth. When you do this practice, do you have any special commitments? There's no special commitments, but it will be good to always develop a kind heart for others. You don't have to be any religion. You don't have to subscribe to any school of Buddhism. You don't have to be Gelugpa or anything to do this practice. Some people like to say only Gelugpas can practice Dorje Shugden, or Dorje Shugden will not help people who are not Gelugpa. That's not true. Dorje Shugden is Manjushri. Manjushri doesn't look at you with the labels that you put on yourself or ourselves. Manjushri, Dorje Shugden will help anyone who invoke upon his energy and his assistance. Okay? When can you do this practice? You can do this practice morning, afternoon, night. You can do it a few times a day. You can do it anytime you like, up to you. All right? You can do this practice for someone who has passed away. You can do this practice at a funeral or a wake. You can do this practice for someone who is not happy. You can do this practice for a pet. You can do this practice for someone you love in the hospital, someone who's ill. You can do this practice for someone who's afflicted with some negative spiritual beings that harm them. You can do this practice. You can do this practice to help you get a job, to have things more smoother. If you're afraid, you can do this practice to protect you. If you travel a lot, you can do this practice for anything you need in life to help you. And what do you need to give back to Dorje Shugden? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. So how come from Dorje Shugden everything is free? You've heard the old cliche, the best things in life are free. The best things in life are free. So we don't owe Dorje Shugden anything. Do we have to convert to Buddhism? Of course not. As I said before, you can be any religion or no religion to get help, because compassion has no boundaries. Compassion has no barriers. Dorje Shugden's, Manjushri Dorje Shugden's compassion has no barriers. And do we need to have an altar? We don't. If you have one, you can. You can have it any way you want. You can add your altar to the existing altar, or you don't have to have an altar. I have many free downloads for you to download, for you to print out or shoot a picture of any size you like on my website. And if you wish to buy water bowls and sevkim items or special ritual items, it's on my website. You can also see where that's available also. On vajrasecrets.com, that's up to you. And why am I recommending this practice? Because I've done it for over 30 years. I'm a pragmatic person. I'm a practical person. I'm a logical person. And I'm an ordinary person, and I have a lot of obstacles. So for the last 30 years, I've seen many, many unexplainable help that I have received that has helped me overcome a lot of difficulties I have had. And it came after I prayed to Dorje Shugden. Has anything bad happened to me because of Dorje Shugden? Not that I can remember, not that I can see, or not that I can recall. So, if I have a bad dream and it's been particularly quite frightening, if I pray to Dorje Shugden, I request him for help, the dream will literally stop. If I needed a job, he helped me get a job. I know of a monk from Tibet. He escaped from Tibet, from his village in Yara, and then he had to run away to Lhasa, which takes about a month to get there. From Lhasa, he went to the Nepalese border. To the Nepalese border, he climbed the mountains, and he came into Nepal, and then he went to India, then he went to the monasteries. This was about 15 years ago. And I know him very well. He's my friend. And he's a very simple monk. He's from a village. His parents are nomads, farmers. So he told me about his escape from Tibet. And he told me when he left the monastery, he only had his robes. And he didn't have anything else. And because it was a rush escape. He had some shoes on. So after he traveled, when he traveled, he had some food. So Tibetans have tsamba. You mix that with water, you can eat it, it's barley flour, keeps you full. So he had run out of tsamba, he had run out of some cheese he had, dried cheese, and he was literally in an area that was open field, like hundreds of miles around him, hundreds of kilometers around him. It's just open, it's mountains. There's no villages around, there's no temples around, there's nothing. And so he had arrived in such a place because he couldn't go on the normal route. And he was starving. He was starving and he was hungry and there's no one around. So he said that he had prayed to Dorje Shugden because that's the protector of his temple and his monastery that he had come from. He had prayed to Dorje Shugden and he fell asleep. And when he woke up in the morning, next to him was a bag of tsampa. Right next to him. He got up, he looked around, there's nobody around. There's no herders, there's no farmers, there's no nomads, there's no temples, there's nobody around. But he had a bag of tsampa. So he was able to get some water from the river and mix that with the tsampa, eat that, and keep himself full till he got to a next village, which took another week or so. And I said, where do you think that food came from? What do you think? He says, definitely Dorje Shugden gave it to me. I said, why do you think that? He says, because I prayed to Dorje Shugden, and the next thing I know, I get a bag of tsampa. You tell me where that came from. Then I met a very old Tibetan couple back in the 80s in America. An old Tibetan couple who used to come to Thupten, Darjeeling, where the center I was at, to always do pujas and talk with Geshe Tsurim Gyaltsen. And this old couple used to live in Orange County, which is about 2.5 hours away that time. And then they would come to our center in Los Angeles and to the Darjeeling, and they join us for pujas. They didn't speak a lot of English, but there was another Tibetan there, and he had translated for us. And because this couple used to come and do Dorje Shugden pujas with us. It's an elderly man in his 70s and his elderly wife in her late 60s. They're Tibetans from Tibet. Very nice couple. And they used to come and they used to do pujas. And one day there was a translator, and I got a chance to talk with them with a few other students. And we had asked them, about their history and their background. And they told us something very interesting. They told us that they are very dedicated to Dorje Shugden, and they're very devoted to Dorje Shugden. They've been practicing Dorje Shugden for nearly 50 years. And the reason is because in Tibet, where they live, they're near a river. And the river that year had flooded. There was unusual amount of rains, and it had flooded. And the river, the water rose, and it encroached onto the land, and it encroached onto their house. And there's a lot of houses in that area, and it was pulling their houses into the river, literally. It was pulling their houses into the river, they told us themselves. So they got onto the roof. The husband and wife and their family members got onto the roof. And while they're on the roof, they can see their house being pulled into the river and onto the river. They couldn't cross the river, it's too torrential. So they didn't know what to do. So the husband and wife got on their knees and prayed to Dorje Shugden and asked for help. Please help us. And you know what they said? Literally, the house went against the current towards the land and went to the shore. And then when that happened, the husband and wife and the family ran downstairs, ran out of the house and ran onto the land. And when they ran to the land, the house went down the river. I said, did it happen exactly like that? They said, it was exactly like that. And the couple is a very nice little couple, retired, simple, normal, not looking for attention, not looking for anything. And they told us that story. And they said that happened to us right after we prayed to Dorje Shugden. And I said, wow. And they said, we have been praying to Dorje Shugden for the last 50 years, and he has done nothing but benefit. Even when we left India, we were trying to get our visas to go to America. We got our visa after we prayed to Dorje Shugden. When we got to America, we had a lot of problems getting jobs, culture, language difference. We had a lot of issues trying to get a U.S. passport. We prayed to Dorje Shugden. We got a job. We got a U.S. passport, and now we're retired. And they said, that's why we're very dedicated. And they said, it's for many generations that our family is praying to Dorje Shugden in our region. I mean, I have met many people, Tibetans, who have told me stories like that. Okay? So, for me, I don't really need those stories, although they're very interesting. For me, it's very simple. My guru is the lineage holder of all gurus from India, from Tibet. He is the culmination of many gurus that he has received Dharma from his guru. His guru has received it from his guru, from his guru, from his guru, all the way to Shakyamuni Buddha. So my guru has the lineage and teachings and practice all the way from his gurus to Shakyamuni Buddha. My guru is a pure monk. Khedje Sorumji was a pure monk. He was an erudite scholar. He was a great Mahasiddha and a yogi. His clairvoyance was well known and sought after for divinations from people all around the world. He was a master of Sutra and Tantra. He was a great teacher. He was a great, incredible logician and debate master. He was also an abbot of Ganeshatse Monastery. He has dedicated his whole life to the Dharma, studying the Dharma, teaching the Dharma, practicing Dharma, and disseminating the Dharma. So when I met him, he's already in his 70s, mid-70s. And he became my root teacher. So someone of that caliber tells you, Dorje Shugden is Manjushri, Dorje Shugden will be good for you, I give you Dorje Shugden, this is my personal protector, I give it to you. Someone of that caliber and that credential, like Sorumji, gives you the practice. You just say, yes, Rinpoche, I will do the practice. And I will hold my commitment to you, and I will never let go of the practice because Sorumji, you gave it to me. So today, I, Tsem Tuku, definitely do not have Sorumji's credentials, but I confidently teach you and share Dorje Shugden's practice because it was given to me by a living Buddha, Khedje Sorumji. So many people ask me for help, assistance over the years for many problems that they have. If you pray to Dorje Shugden, you dedicate to Dorje Shugden, you trust Dorje Shugden, he will be able to help you. He will be able to assist you to the best of your karma. He is no other than Manjushri. Even in the future, if you wish not to practice Dorje, give it up. He also will not harm you because he is a Bodhisattva, he's a Buddha. Okay? So, I have given the teaching today that I hope you will consistently practice Dorje Shugden. You'll consistently invoke upon him along with your other practice, along with whatever you're meditating, whatever you're practicing, so it benefits you. I hope by doing this, I can bring a little bit of benefit into your life, into your family, so that you will have a happy life, a healthy life, a long life, a spiritual life, and a long life, and a very long, prosperous life, a spiritually prosperous life. Okay? So, you can go to my website, which is taken care of and manned, and we put a lot of information by a great team of writers who work tirelessly to benefit others. And I do appreciate the technical team behind TsemRinpoche.com and also the writers team, the artistic team, the research team, and all of them. because we have really reached out to a lot of people, and we have received a lot of messages from people on how much they appreciate what we have put up on the website. So that I want to say thank you very much to our technical team, to our artistic team, research team, writers team. I'm even able to do a live transmission here because of the team that I have that is sitting right in front of me, who have set this all up and prepared all this to get this ready so that I can do this and benefit a lot of people. Hopefully I can benefit. So anyway, I thank everybody. I was very happy to be able to share all of this. May all of you be benefited. May the blessings of Kyabje Soramji, Buddha Shakyamuni, Lama Dorje Shugden change your lives, bring you to a higher consciousness, bring you to full enlightenment eventually. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Earlier, I have given instructions on how to do this daily sadhana of Dorje Shugden that's very short, concise, and not needing any type of rituals or ritual items. This will be in the blog post called New Simplified Daily Prayer to Dorje Shugden. I repeat, New Simplified Daily Prayer to Dorje Shugden. So I'm going to go ahead and recite this daily sadhana to Dorje Shugden that I will not explain anything about from beginning to end. And as you can see, it's quite short and concise and easy to do. It can be attached to your own practice that you already have, or this can be your sole practice. A daily sadhana to Dorje Shugden. A daily sadhana of Dorje Shugden to Dorje Shugden. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until enlightened, I seek refuge. Through giving and other perfections, to aid all, may I become a Buddha. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until enlightened, I seek refuge. Through giving and other perfections, to aid all, may I become a Buddha. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until enlightened, I seek refuge. Through giving and other perfections, to aid all, may I become a Buddha. The four immeasurables. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from the happiness free of suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity free from bias, attachment, and aversion. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel, your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands, I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness that I in turn may nourish all beings with unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease and all happiness and joy be fulfilled. And may the holy Dharma flourish forevermore. The mantra of Buddha Shakyamuni, Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni E Soha. 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 Lama Tsongkhapa's name mantra. Oma A Guru Benza Dara Sumati Kiti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benza Dara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Oma A Guru Benzadara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Hong Hong. Guru Rinpoche's mantra. Oma A Hom, Benza Guru Padma Siddhi Hom. 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 Offering Cloud Dharani, blessing all offerings with the following mantra. Oma Namo Bhagavate Benza Sawa Pamadane Tadagataya Arhate Samyasam Buddhaya Teyada Om Benza Benza Maha Teja Benza Maha Vidya Benza Maha Bodhichitta Benza Maha Bodhi Mando Pasam Kramana Benza Sawa Karma Avarane Vishudane Benza Soha. Invoking, taking refuge, generating the Bodhichitta, remembering the four immeasurables, praising Lord Buddha, invoking the blessings of Buddha through his mantra, invoking the blessings of Lama Tsongkhapa through his mantra, invoking Guru Rinpoche's blessing through his mantra, blessing all offerings. Now we invoke Dorje Shugden to our presence. Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom, Oma Ahom, Hom. Before myself as the Yidam protector, in the midst of wind-swept dark red fire, on a terrifying magnificent lion, trampling enemies and obstructors on a lotus in the sun, is our supreme heart jewel, Dhammapala, mighty Gyalchin Dorje Shugden, adorned with robes of a monk, on his body wearing the golden dome, on his head, holding razor sword and enemy heart in his hands, with a manner of delight towards the practitioner, and a fierce expression which destroys enemies and obstructors. He is surrounded by an ocean-like host of retinue, such as chief attendant Kachimapo, rays of light from my heart invite from the natural sphere and the individual palaces wherever they abide, the wisdom beings who in one instant are invited and become inseparable from the commitment beings. Hong. With devotion I prostrate with body, speech, and mind and make offerings, both outer and inner, with flowers, incense, and light, perfume, food, and sacred substances. Collections of tormas, strong drinks, tea, butter tampa, milk, and yogurt, actually arranged and mentally visualized, filling the whole of space. Samaya substances, fulfillment substances, basal substances, and mantric substances, outer, inner, and secret, favorite visual objects, and fragrant smoke offerings. With my offerings of these filling space, O entourage, may you be satisfied and restore degenerated commitments. All of our mistaken actions of body, speech, and mind, which have contradicted the mind of the great Dhammapala, we confess from the heart. Quickly purify them and care for us with compassion like a mother for her child. This heartfelt exhortation of you, Supreme Deity, is to spread and increase victorious Losang's tradition, to extend the life and dominion of the glorious Gurus, and to increase the study and practice of the communities of Sangha. Never separated from me like a body in its shadow, may you dispel adverse conditions and obstructors without exception, accomplish favorable conditions and desires as I wish, and protect and care for me without ever a break. Especially the time has now come to show directly your unobstructed might in quick, decisive, enlightened conduct. Of the four activities to swiftly accomplish our deepest heartfelt desires according to our wishes. The time has come to judge the truth in accord with the law of causality. The time has come to clear the innocent accusations. The time has come to protect the humble who are without a protector. The time has come to nurture Dharma practitioners like your children. In short, from now until attaining essence of enlightenment, since we venerate you as the embodiment of the Guru and protector, may you protect us uninterruptedly with your enlightened activity and watch over us during the 3 periods of the day and 3 of the night. Making offerings, sensory offerings. Oma Dhamma Pala Maharinsa Benza Begawan Ruja Benza Gola Sabari Wada Agum Pajin Pube Dube Adoge Yende Nevende Shada Patita Soha. Oma Dhamma Pala Maharinsa Benza Begawan Ruja Benza Gola Sabari Wada Oma Ahom. By just recollecting you for an instant, outer and inner obstructions are dispelled. O powerful five families of Gyalchin Shugden, the star of the four activities, to the Dharmapala and his entourage, I bow down. A daily request for wealth, peace, and protection. In the heavens, there are myriad manifestations of the divine. All those manifestations specifically show us different aspects of divinity in order to be of benefit to all living beings. All the Rupakaya forms of the divine have compassion, skillful means, and wisdom. We invoke upon them whether we are happy, sad, down, lost, fulfilled, confused, empty, and during the whole process, during the whole range, the whole process and the whole range of emotions we constantly experience due to the untrained mind. Understanding our nature, great wisdom being Dorje Shugden. Therefore, all the more so, please hold us close to your bosom as an only child to a parent. Hold us close. Through the manifestations of the divine, need no offerings and gifts from us. Though the manifestation of the divine need no offerings and gifts from us, we offer you Supreme Manjushri Dorje Shugden, a libation of tea, incense, and mantras, in order to ask you to bless us, to be a part of our lives, to abide in our dwellings, and to give us signs, omens, and portents of good and bad. When the negative arises, quell them immediately. Please quell them immediately. Please increase the positive for my weary and worn mind as I lay hopes in you. When difficulties, problems, and confusion arise, we ask you, who is but the culmination of all that is powerful, holy, and omniscient, to bless myself, family, loved ones, environment, and even my pets. May I see wisdom, find hope, and may I be at peace. I request you, O divine Bhagawan Dorje Shugden, who wears a round dome hat and 3 robes of a saffron bhikshu, who wields a sword of liberty, justice, and wisdom, and clutches a wish-fulfilling jewel, who rides on a supreme line of subjugation of all that is negative to fulfill my wishes. I understand my wishes may not be the best, so I surrender to your wisdom for the outcome, though it may not be what I have in mind. Please bless myself and everyone that we may enter into the supreme city of liberation. Great Bhagawan Dorje Shugden, I request you sincerely from my heart to be a part of my life, bless my home, and grant me wisdom, solace, and comfort, that I might be of service to others without agenda, and that I may focus out onto others and not be fixated on myself, creating more problems for all that I hold dear. Bless me to become kinder, wiser, more compassionate, tolerant, and very forgiving to all those who hurt and love me. In order to become close to you, Dorje Shugden, we must surrender the banal. We must abandon fixed views, projections, and rigidity. Lastly, in my final moment, when I leave this plane of existence, only the positive actions I have done will matter, as everything and everyone will be left behind. Let me realize this and act upon this now. At this crucial moment, please may I have a vision of yourself, the powerful and merciful Dorje Shugden, to take me to where I may course in the sky to continue my journey of spiritual waxing. I offer you saffron-colored tea and my faith to fulfill my prayers and gain siddhis. By reciting your mantra, may healing, peace, love, long life, protection, and perfect view of shunyata arise. I repeat, I offer you saffron-colored tea and my faith to fulfill my prayers and gain siddhis. By reciting your mantra, may healing, peace, love, long life, protection, and perfect view of shunyata arise. I repeat, and I implore you the 3rd time, I offer you saffron-colored tea and my faith to fulfill my prayers and gain siddhis. By reciting your mantra, may healing, peace, love, long life, protection, and perfect view of shunyata arise. Mantra of fulfillment, peace, and wisdom. of the powerful World Peace Protector Dorje Shugden. Om Benza Wiki Bitana Soha, Om Benza Wiki Bitana Soha. Om Benza Wiki Bitana Soha, 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 Om Benza Wiki Bitana Soha. I dedicate this supreme heartfelt prayer to the all-knowing celestial and supreme protector Dorje Shugden, that I may quickly become a being of light, compassion, love, and enlightenment. Offering a libation of tea to Dorje Shugden, Setra, their entourage, along with all the three jewels, the gurus, dakas, dakinis, and enlightened Dharma protectors. Oma ahom, Oma ahom, Oma ahong, hong. O gurus who rain down accumulations of excellence, fulfilling our own and others' purposes, and yidams who bestow all ordinary and supreme attainments. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. All hosts of heroes and dakinis of the three places, an ocean of powerful oath-bound Dharma protectors, through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully, powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. And especially supreme, supermundane Dhammapala, forcefully powerful, strict, and swift Dorje Shugden. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. O five families who unobstructedly bestow infinite activities of peace, increase, power, and wrath. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. O nine beautiful consorts, 8 guiding monks, and 10 fierce attendants, young guardians, and so on. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. Kri, especially principal guardian of the conqueror's teachings, Setrapchen, along with your entourage. To you, this golden drink, replete with all one could wish, is offered. Never waver in your protection. Kri, especially principal guardian of the conqueror's teachings, Setrapchen, along with your entourage. To you, this golden drink, replete with all one could wish, is offered. Never waver in your protection. Kri, especially principal guardian of the conqueror's teachings, Setrapchen, along with your entourage. To you, this golden drink, replete with all one could wish, is offered. Never waver in your protection, either 3 or 7 times. O extremely fierce Katyamapo, the strict attendant, executioner of those with degenerated samaya. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. O extremely fierce Kachamapo, the strict attendant, executioner of those with degenerate samaya. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. O extremely fierce Kachamapo, the strict attendant, executioner of those with degenerated samaya. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. Vow breakers, heart blood purified like gold. This drink of fully boiling sikkim I offer to Nangka Bartsin and entourage, accepting accomplish the yogi's intended purpose. Vow breakers, heart's blood purified like gold. This drink of fully boiling sikkim I offer to Nangka Bartsin and entourage, accepting accomplish the yogi's intended purpose. Vow breakers, heart's blood purified like gold. This drink of fully boiling sikkim I offer to Nangka Bartsin and entourage, accepting accomplish the yogi's intended purpose. As well as the inconceivable emanations and their emanations, attendant deities and demons who shake the 3,000 worlds. Through offering you this ambrosial drink which bestows bliss, may you, having partaken, swiftly and spontaneously accomplish our wishes. Thus, by the force of this offering and exhortation, may you grant your activity throughout the 6 time periods, and without wavering, always protect me and care for me like a father for his son. And you hosts of wrathful attendants as well, remember your sworn oaths of promise to Lord Dunzin, and accomplish swiftly now without distraction whatever activities I have requested. Precious, supreme Bodhi mind, may it, where unborn, arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Precious view Shunyata, may it, where unborn, arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Through this virtue, may I swiftly attain Guru Buddha's state and place each and every being without exception in that state. May all be auspicious day and night. May auspiciousness increase both day and night, like the sun rising to its highest in the heavens. 3 jewels of refuge, please bless us. 3 jewels of refuge, please bestow attainments. May there be auspiciousness of the 3 jewels. This concludes the daily sadhana to invoke upon the blessings, protection, and wisdom of Dorje Shugden. Thank you very much.